Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. All right, we are, let's get all of our audio on. All right, we are back on the record. It is 1:07 p.m. Appearances are as they were previously. Mr. Brooks is in the courtroom. He is in jail attire, as that is his choice. And I don't know if there's anything the state wants to address at this point before we continue with testimony.
No, thank you.
Check. All right, Mr. Brooks, anything you want to address at this point? It's hard for me to see his head.
Okay, so what's going on with Ding Dong Darrell? Well, I put this out in one of my earlier videos. This is when, court is getting ready to start. Obviously, he's still in his jail clothes. And he was, he had this big fit that he was on a COVID protocol. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And, and he was worried about it. But then yet, when the test results came, he didn't want to read them. He refused to read them. And he pitched a big fit. And that's when he got, some sort of injuries. And he got this little tiny cut that he needed medical attention for, and a bruise. But I think he was probably fighting the bailiffs. And so finally, he was put into the other courtroom. I'm just recapping in case not everyone saw this. So the judge finally got it and told him his COVID test was negative. And he just started like boo-hooing, crying like a baby that he is. And I guess there was a lot of speculation as to what he was crying for. One, maybe he was scared he had COVID and he was relieved he didn't have it. I'm not so sure that's it. I think he was using the COVID thing as a delay tactic. And perhaps he was disappointed because he couldn't delay. But then also the judge had given him some compliments on the way he handled himself or a witness. I don't know. She said something. And I believe her compliment actually made him boo-hoo. Sounds crazy. That may not even be it at all. But that's when he seemed like he was just like, he was really crying. Still looked like a damn fool, but I don't feel sad to see his head on the table and him feeling poorly, because you know what'll happen. He'll talk like this and be all pitiful and pathetic. But as time passes, he'll start to perk up and be the ass and the person that we hold mega disdain for. But I was sharing these videos because it kind of ties everything in. I haven't done everything in exact order, but I've kind of done it in an order that hopefully makes sense, because I start thinking, maybe not everyone's seen all of the, the days of trial. So now I'm tying it into, we had Nick and Nicholas and Corey testify. Now we're going to have a police officer that responded to the call about the domestic dispute or whatever, they wanted to call it. And then we have two witnesses who see it all is playing a little pattern. So as we recall, when Darrell left Corey and Nick and Erica Patterson, he was alone in his vehicle, And after that, before he drove through the parade, he stopped at a gas station. He was going down the road the wrong way, and was pissed off, of course, at the people, even though he was the one in wrong. He was mad at them. So he has a couple of eyewitnesses who saw him at the gas station and at the parade. So this will all be kind of interesting. So let's see. Yeah, he'll slowly go.
Bent
Look.
over, but
Here we go.
I thought I saw him shaking his head. No, but I'll ask one more time. Mr. Brooks, anything you want me to address before the jurors are brought out to continue with testimony from witnesses?
Just a little emotional right now.
All right. Let's bring the jury out. We'll continue. I presume the state has a witness available.
I like how she just
Thank you.
cheerfully goes along. Yeah, don't worry. He's going to raise his head and be the ass we all know. And I don't even feel sad. Yeah, get your little tissue. I'm thinking of, victims and family members who lost, whose relatives or loved ones lost their lives. How they might be feeling a little bit emotional.
The jury is headed out, but why don't you hold off on that, and at the next appropriate time when they're not on their way in, I can address whatever it is. Or if you want to pass me a note, you can do that as well.
We don't hear your snot. Please don't. Oh, I would encourage you to open that Bible and read something about repentance, and he's going to write her a love letter, bless his little heart. I hope he throws his snot right away. Ugh. With this little tiny pencil. Dear Judge, I like you. Do you like me? Mark the box. Yes, no, maybe. It's a damn shame he's wasting all this time when everyone knows he did it. Just so many eyewitness testimonies. But then, see, we wouldn't have known each other because we wouldn't be coming here to bitch and moan and complain and air our grievances about the injustice. It was a dramatic tear of the paper. I just want to smack that tiny pencil out of his hand. Oh, look. Is the judge looking at me in my sad eyes? Where? You know what would be the best gift to all of us? Sorry for
All right,
bumping.
thank you, everyone. Please be seated. And good.
I just wanted to say the best gift would be if he sat there and just wrote the letter to her during the whole time. But we all know that that's not going to happen. So never mind, let's proceed.
Good afternoon to our jury. State may call its next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Officer Jeremy Phillips.
All right, good afternoon, officer. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is to my right. When you get there, please remain standing, raise your right hand, and my clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please be seated. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
My first name is Jeremy, spelled Jeremy. My last name is Phillips, Phillipps.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm employed with the City of Waukesha Police Department.
And how long have you worked in law enforcement?
I've been in law enforcement for a total of 14 years next month.
All with the city of Waukesha?
I have about 5 months with the City of Dodgeville Police Department in Wisconsin. The rest has been with the City of Waukesha.
All right. Sir, I'd like to direct your attention to the date of November 21 of 2021, please. Were you working that afternoon?
I was working that afternoon, yes.
What was your duty or assignment?
I was assigned a normal patrol beat, squad area 216 with the City of Waukesha on a 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. shift.
Were you aware there was a parade taking place in downtown Waukesha that afternoon?
I was aware that there was a Christmas parade downtown Waukesha.
Were you directly assigned to work the parade?
I was not assigned to work the parade.
You said you were one of the officers that was just involved in general patrol of the city that afternoon.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. I'd like to direct your attention to time around 4 o'clock or 4:30 in the afternoon. Do you recall getting dispatched to Frame Park?
I do recall being dispatched there, yes.
Do you know the exact time you were dispatched?
I believe it was 4:52 p.m. approximately there.
Okay. And where is Frame Park located?
Frame Park is rather large, but it's generally located in the downtown area off of White Rock Avenue and Baxter Avenue.
What was the nature of the complaint you were responding to?
I received a complaint to respond in emergency fashion, which means light and siren, for subjects fighting in the park with a knife allegedly involved.
Where were you coming from?
I was in the patrol area of East Moreland, roughly at East Main Street at the time, and that's where I was responding from.
Was Main Street shut down at the time for the parade?
Main Street where I was responding from was not, no.
Okay. I guess let me ask a better question. Were you able to travel along Main Street to get to Frame Park? The silver colored SUV with lights, red and blue lights activated, do you know whose squad car that was?
That belonged to Sergeant Dave Warner.
Where did you go?
When I arrived to the area, initial dispatch information stated that this alleged fight involving a knife was somewhere in the vicinity of the Shootsy building where the boat ramp was. Based on my training and experience of that vicinity, I know that the boat rental checkout is on the back side of the Shootsy building, so that's the initial area I responded to and where my attention was drawn to.
This time, Your Honor, I'm going to ask for permission to put up Exhibit 1, which is the map of the area we've been working off of.
Permission granted. Yes.
Do you see that item in front of you, Officer Phillips, on the screen?
I do now.
Okay.
Oh, it needs to be public. Hold on.
So that is a touch screen in front of you. If you want to draw or circle or anything like that, you may, or you can just simply talk. I'd like you to identify for us where you came in to the area.
Well, it's not really blowing up, so.
No, if you want it blown up, we can blow it up from our table. Sorry. We'll zoom in.
If you wouldn't mind, where it says Frame Park in the upper right-hand corner, that would be, looks like the vicinity that I probably responded to. I would need to see a bigger image.
Is that good?
That will suffice.
Okay.
So I responded in a direction on White Rock Avenue, coming this way. This now is Baxter Avenue, which I would have made a right-hand turn onto. And right about in this parking lot area is where the Shootsy building exists. And then there would be a boardwalk and some trails behind that where the boat ramp would be.
Okay. And you drove in that area first, right?
Correct.
What were you looking for?
At that time, I was looking for anybody suspicious that may be involved in a fight, somebody carrying a weapon, somebody that might have been battered and bruised or obviously injured or in need of help.
Okay. Did you see anybody?
I did not.
Did you drive around a little bit?
I drove around in the parking lot of the Shootsy building. There was another officer already on scene who, from my understanding, was already on foot in and around the vicinity of the Shootsy building and advised that they could not find anybody at the Shootsy building.
Okay.
What?
Officer Phillips, do you see White Rock School on this map?
With the
I do,
tissue
yes.
in his
Did
mask.
you put an X on White Rock School?
White Rock School is this elongated building right here, so we'll draw a large X through it.
Okay. And you said the roadway running parallel to White Rock to the north is Baxter?
Correct.
Okay. And Baxter is the road closest to the river. There's no other roads that run along the river there. Just like a walking path or something, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Another officer's out on foot. What do you do?
At this point, the officer came over the radio and stated he could not find anybody in the vicinity. I was listening and monitoring the radio, and at some point, what I thought was a reserve officer came over and said that they were speaking with a couple of subjects potentially involved. So at that time, I got on the radio and said that I was going to attempt to meet with the caller, because I didn't exactly know who this reserve officer was speaking to, how many subjects were involved, if they were actually involved or just a witness to the situation. All of that information was completely unbeknownst to me, so I decided I should probably go meet with a reserve officer and figure out who these subjects are and what the involvement was.
This reserve officer was working as part of the parade, is that right?
He was in the vicinity right at Sergeant Dave Warner's location.
Okay. So did you drive down there?
I started to drive in that general direction towards White Rock Avenue and Hartwell, which is where Dave Warner and Reserve Officer Troutman would have been. Before I could fully reach that intersection, there was approximately 3 subjects off to my right-hand side on the sidewalk that were yelling, screaming, and waving, like flagging me down. The way that they were doing this, they appeared to be in distress. They appeared that they needed immediate help, and certainly appeared that they needed to speak with somebody in law enforcement.
Can you put a small X on the map in the approximate area where you met up with these 3 individuals, or they were waving at you?
It would have been about halfway between Baxter and where Sergeant Warner's squad was parked. So again, this is going to be an approximation, but I'm going to put that X right about here.
Okay. So I assume you pulled over.
I pulled over, I rolled down my passenger window, and 2 of the subjects started yelling that their friend had been assaulted. So it was right at that point that they started trying to tell me that their friend had been assaulted, that information came over the radio on the primary dispatch channel that something had happened downtown and somebody had been hit. So at that point, my attention started to get a little bit diverted, because hearing that on the radio is not something that just happens every day. That perks you up pretty quickly to figure out, that could be a serious injury, that could be more officers needed, something to that effect. So that took my attention away briefly. As I looked back at the subjects, they started to again say that their friend had been assaulted. So I said, hold on, let me pull over so I can get out, so I can speak with you directly in person and figure out what was going on. I pulled my squad over.
Yep, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. I pulled my squad over. I exited my driver's side of the vehicle, came around to the front of my vehicle when a short black female who was wearing what appeared to be a blue coat and blue jeans walked in the front of my patrol vehicle. There was 2 other subjects that were with her, and they started to indicate that she had been assaulted by a boyfriend of some type. I started to talk to the female who had the blue coat on, and I said, okay, well, what happened? Who is this person? And she tried to downplay what happened. She didn't want to be cooperative. She made comments to the effect of, nothing happened, it was just a verbal argument, I'm fine, I just want to leave.
Did you see any injury on her?
So at that time, I did. The 2 subjects that were with her tried to tell her that they said, "No, Erica, you need to tell him what happened." And one of the subjects looked at me and said, "Officer, you need to look at her face," because she was bladed a little bit to 45 degrees away from me. So I kind of stepped and looked a little bit to the side, and I could see that her face was swollen. There was obvious bruising on it. She had an obvious black eye on one side of her face. The other eye also looked like it was swollen, but it was appear that she had facial injuries that were obvious.
You said they referred to this person by the name of Erica, is that right?
Yes.
Did you eventually ask this person for her name?
I did eventually ask for her name, yes.
What did she tell you?
She told me that her full name was Erica Patterson and that her date of birth was 10/7 of 1990.
Okay. And were you going to investigate her complaint further?
I was attempting to investigate the complaint further, yes.
And then what happened?
So as I was speaking to this woman who identified herself as Erica, along with the two other people that were with her who I did not identify, the calls on the radio at that point were 1078 after 1078 after 1078.
Okay,
And
what does that mean?
so 1078 in law enforcement jargon is officer needs immediate assistance right now, all available units. As that was being called multiple times, other people were coming on the radio and stating there were subjects down in the street, then it was 10 people down, then it was 15, then it was to 30 or 40. And I had to make a decision at that point, speaking with the subjects, particularly the one who appeared to be involved and the most injured, who was not being cooperative with me, that the greater danger and the clear and present threat that was happening downtown had to draw my attention. I had to leave.
All right. The events that you've described for us so far, are those all captured on your squad video, sir?
Yes.
And at that time, in November of 2021, were you wearing a body camera?
I was not wearing a body camera at that time.
So you had a video recording device in your squad car, correct? But when you exit your squad, it's no longer recording your activities unless you can be seen on the camera in front of the squad, correct?
I have an audio recording device on my person that is synced and connected to my squad exterior windshield camera.
Okay. And that camera in your squad is stationary, is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Eventually then, do you leave the area where you're speaking with Erica and the other two individuals and go to Main Street?
I leave the area. I tell her I'm sorry that I had to go. I went down White Rock, navigated float traffic, went down East Main Street in a westbound direction, and eventually came to East Main Street at Barstow Street, where I exited my patrol vehicle.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, oh yes, before I move away from Exhibit 1, could we please get a screenshot, Madam Clerk, of the drawings by Officer Phillips, and then I'm gonna ask to switch to Exhibit 6, please.
So for purposes of the record, I believe I'm at 1C for the capturing using the annotation feature.
I think we agree with that, yes. All right, officer, you see we've now put Exhibit 6 on your monitor. It's not yet displayed for the courtroom. Do you see Exhibit 6 on your monitor?
Yes.
Do you recognize this, or do you want us to play it for a few seconds?
I recognize what I'm looking at.
Okay. Do you believe this to be a truthful and accurate recording from your squad video that afternoon, sir?
I haven't listened to it at this point, but I would believe if it's from what I'm looking at, it would be accurate to my squad video, yes.
Okay. And you ultimately saved your squad video and submitted it to be used as evidence in this case, correct, sir?
Yes, I did.
All right. And this is a clip from that squad video?
It appears to be, yes.
Okay. Move to admit and permission to publish Exhibit 6, please.
Mr. Brooks, any position on that?
Yeah. Well, what is the grounds? We haven't seen what's in the video.
Your objection is noted. It is overruled. Exhibit 6 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
All right, so for the record, this clip is about 6 minutes long. It exactly ends at the 5:59 mark, but we're going to play it through, Officer Phillips, and I may ask Ms. Gussie to pause at times so you can kind of describe what's going on in the video. But if you can just orient us what we're looking at right now, please, before we start playing.
So this is an orientation. This would be White Rock Avenue facing a southwesterly direction that would go directly to Main Street. This right here is Baxter Street. And then what you're looking at on the right-hand corner is White Rock Elementary School.
What about way down in the distance? It looks perhaps like it's a church steeple.
So you can see what looks like the church steeple down. That's going to be Main Street down there. And particularly of note, you can see what looks to be a silver-colored car in the center of the roadway. That is Sergeant Warner's unmarked SUV patrol vehicle.
Okay, now
I'd just like to make a record when he was pointing and saying this, at least initially, he was using his right hand pointing to the roadway that's depicted in the still of this video image. He also said over here, or this is Baxter. You can see about midway in the frame a street sign, and there's a street that intersects. That's where he was pointing to, that particular street. Again, I believe that was Baxter. I believe the rest of his comments comport with the record and don't need further explanation or at least verification by the court. So go ahead.
all right, thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start to play. We're at the 0 mark right now. Where are you going now? Pause, please. I'm sorry. 9 second. We're pausing. Go ahead, officer.
So what you're looking at here is Baxter Street. And right off to your right-hand side, I get that pointing at things with my hand isn't necessarily ideal. But the building over here is the Shootsy building. Where those squad lights are there is the parking lot of the Shootsy building. There's at least one officer already on foot in this vicinity of the Shootsy building where the alleged knife fight with multiple individuals were involved.
Okay. And I see, looks like red and blue lights there in the middle of the photo, or the video.
Correct.
Whose squad is that?
I know one of them is Officer Nick Hendrickson.
Okay. And is that the officer that you were referring to earlier when you said another officer was also trying to help you find these subjects involved in the fight?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Off to the left, it looks like there's a bunch of cars parked there.
Correct.
Is that general parking available to the public?
That is general public parking for the Shootsy building.
Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and play again.
For the subject of the claimant that this fight happened. And they were at Hartwell and Maine with the Duh-rell Street.
Are you driving on Baxter now?
I'm driving down.
The 12 number 2 I walked down towards the White Rock School. Hispanic male, Hispanic female.
Pause it, please. Whose voice was that, if you know?
I'm not going to say I know 100% sure on that.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Play.
That's okay. Slow everybody down. I don't see anything redone like must be reported. What I do, I got it. Always went back before you just hear it.
Pause. It's a little hard to see, but on the right-hand side, did you see the individuals walking down the street there?
I did. My squad just passed.
I'm sorry,
but
sidewalk, yeah.
About 2 seconds prior, there was 3 individuals who were walking down the sidewalk these are the three individuals that flagged me down on the passenger side of my car.
Okay. Go ahead.
Wait, is that 52 Main or so somebody got hit? What? What? Black guy, red SUV, just assault front door of the car. And he said he can get this one the line on knife or something? At the university? I've already been slashed. Let me pull over here. Yeah, we can. And pardon me, you need a 1052, I copy 854. 122, from their car, that's the westbound, by subway. Hold on for a second, okay? 216, I need another at Hartwell with White Rock. I have a person reporting it. Okay. White Rock, Hartwell.
Wow. So crazy how all of this is connected.
Who ran? Do you have a weapon? We have multiple subjects found. 10-15 people, main and gas fire. Repeating, main and gas fire, 1078.
Just because he was pissed off at Erica.
Okay, what is your name? What's your name? What's your date of birth? So, 10/7/1990? Erica Patterson? Okay. Okay.
Oh my gosh, all that.
I copy 1078. Well, my unit 1052, getting front of people's park, female, not conscious, not alert, not breathing. King County, everybody here available now. One of the two has got multiple critical fractures.
Wow. I don't know about you guys, but just hearing all those panicked voices on the police radios, hearing all the sirens, seeing them, and then now all of us fully realizing what had happened. It's really just bone chilling, isn't it? You can, in all of these officers' faces, you can see the trauma that they suffered. And Darrell is just ding dong Darrell. Pathetic. Okay, let's keep going. Oh. See, now he's raising up to look at it. He probably loves it. Just look at me.
CPR, it's visual at 369 West Main Street.
Wow.
God, I got this unresponsive 5-year-old.
Unresponsive 5-year-old. Oh, jeez, man.
Was that you running away from your squad, sir?
That was me running away, yes.
Okay. Go ahead and have a seat, please. It was a little bit difficult to hear when you asked Erica Patterson who assaulted her. Did she tell you a name?
She did not, no.
She did not provide you with any names?
She did not.
Okay. You had her name and her date of birth, and that was it at that point?
That's all I could gather before I had to run out of there as fast as I could.
Okay. Now, when you got to Main Street, where'd you go?
When I got to Main Street, as most of you probably just saw in the video, I took a westbound direction all the way down to Barstow. There's still floats in the parade. I think there was a lot of people that didn't exactly know what was happening in front of them. When I got to Barstow and exited my patrol vehicle and you saw me running down towards the center of the street, at that point I was just trying to assist any officer, EMS, civilian individual that was around, and it was just mass chaos, carnage everywhere.
Did you attempt to render aid to some injured individuals?
There was approximately 2 to 3 individuals I can remember talking to directly. They were all members of the band. I don't know which band it was. It was one of the high school bands. They were in the vicinity just west of Barstow on Main. There was a number of them laying in the street, obviously injured. I had face-to-face contact with a few of them laying on the ground. There were parents screaming at me to help their kids.
Oh, my goodness.
I did what basic measures that I could take as far as emergency life-saving goes. I checked pulses. I asked them to squeeze my finger, asked them what hurt, what they could move. The 2 or 3 I talked to could still move. They could still talk. They could tell me what hurt. There were multiple people standing around them also providing aid. At that point, some of the radio traffic that I was picking up on, I was gathering that potentially a vehicle had driven through the parade and hit some of these individuals. I contemplated throwing some of these people in my patrol vehicle and trying to get them to a hospital. However, my vehicle just simply isn't equipped to have that kind of space or room to do that. So given the fact that I didn't want to try to move anybody unnecessarily that would have caused further damage to them, especially if somebody's involved in blunt force trauma such as a car crash, I said, hey, if you're doing fine right now, somebody will be by shortly, we'll get you an ambulance, just hang tight where you are. And that's basically what I had to ensure at least the 2 or 3 people that I came across. The third person I came across was also a band member. She was a female. Her leg was obviously injured. She was being held upright by a couple of adults. And I asked her what was wrong, what was hurting, if there's anything more serious with her as she was being held up. And she said, officer, I saw what happened. I saw who did this. And I said, what can you tell me? And she said, a red SUV sped through the parade and did this.
Wow.
She didn't say anything more than that. I said, oh, okay. I was like, stay with your family, stay with your parents. Somebody will be by with an ambulance to get you shortly.
These 3 injured individuals you spoke to, would you describe them all as being about teenage years?
Overruled, he may answer. Overruled, he may answer.
You gonna answer to the question to
Yes.
the prosecution table or to the jury? I'm not sure. He's looking at them answering the questions, but they're not answering the questions.
Now remember this. See, he's perking up now to be the old Darrell we've come to loathe. He has issue, and I've noted that he's done this with a few police officers. He's very annoyed that that the officer is looking at the jury. I don't know why it cracks me up. Now, I don't know if y'all watched the Johnny Depp trial, which I did, and I got very, into that. But Amber Heard looked at the jury, but the way she did it was just creepy and, well, because she's just annoying. And she's so annoying and clearly a dreadful actress. That's just my opinion. Of course, y'all are entitled to yours, but he doesn't like that they look at the jury. But, you think about it, a lot of times he'll say, like, he'll ask if he cross-examines or direct examines, he'll say, and for the record, and for the jury. So if it's for the jury, a lot of people, it's probably typical to look at the jury. Now, it could be, I think with Amber Heard, I do remember saying with a lot of people they felt it was very off-putting, but these officers are, trained to do this. So some are going to look at the jury. But he just, Darrell's just got to find something because he doesn't have an intelligent brain cell in his body. He's got to think of something to take issue with, right? Okay, so let's just see what happens next. That one bailiff behind him looks like he wants to laugh. I mean, good God, they'd have to keep their sense of humor to have to deal with his shenanigans all day. God bless them. Ugh. Okay, let's go.
Asking the questions.
You may answer the question, sir.
The three individuals that I met with initially had band uniforms on, and it was my understanding that the band from that vicinity right then and there was a high school band, so I would place them all at teenage age range.
Okay, thank you. Were you aware that at some point a person was taken into custody in the 500 block of Elizabeth Street that was related to this incident, sir?
Objection. Irrelevant.
Overruled.
I was made aware
Yep,
a
he's
little
up and
while
going.
after my involvement directly in the downtown area, yes.
Did you learn the name of the person who had been taken into custody?
Yes.
What was that name?
I knew from radio traffic at the time that it was a Darrell Brooks. I didn't know the date of birth or middle name or anything at that point.
Some point later, after the chaos had somewhat settled, did you have an opportunity to go back and try and investigate the initial complaint you had taken from Erica Patterson?
Yes, I did.
Did you attempt to identify Ms. Patterson fully through police records?
I did identify Ms. Patterson fully by positive ID, yes.
And did you learn of any complaints that have been filed by Ms. Patterson in the past to other police agencies?
Objection. Irrelevant.
Overruled. He may answer the question that's being posed at this point.
I did conduct some more investigation after my involvement in the entire mass casualty incident. When I went back to the police department afterwards, and I was able to verify that Erica Patterson had been involved in other police cases outside of Waukesha.
And specifically, could you find anything linking Ms. Patterson to the defendant, Darrell Brooks?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
Bless his
I
heart.
did find information through our reporting system and other law enforcement sources to directly link Erica Patterson to Darrell Brooks, yes.
And did that information also directly link Darrell Brooks to a vehicle described as a red SUV?
Yes, it did.
Rip.
Have any other questions for this witness at this time, Your Honor?
All right, thank you. Mr. Brooks, you may.
Oh boy, I gotta breathe for a minute because he's gonna be so annoying. And don't you bet the judge, as he's ripping off his papers that he's writing to her, his love notes, she's probably going, "Oh, sweet baby Jesus, I just heard another page rip. I wonder if that guy right there, the bailiff behind him, is trying to read what." I wouldn't be able to sit behind him. I'd be trying to look at everything he's doing, at my facial expressions. I would not be able to be composed. I would probably be Yeah, I will not be a good person for that position. Okay, Darrell. Okay, ding dong. Let's see what unintelligent questions you're going to ask this officer. Officer, I think he said Phillips. I mean, even if he is looking at the jury, and I guess he thinks he's supposed to be looking at the person asking questions, then I guess it goes either way. But it's clearly, oh my gosh, I'm picking up his words, that Officer Phillips is very sharp and, I mean, right on spot with his descriptions and, his observations and everything. So I'm going to need for Darrell to not worry about which way Officer Phillips is looking. Yep, I'm on a roll. All right. Okay, I gotta breathe. Y'all take a deep breath. Ready? Okay, here we go.
Start your cross-examination.
I noticed, Officer Phillips, you are in uniform this afternoon. Were you scheduled to work today?
Here we go.
Yes.
So it would be fair to say that you would be on duty as of now if you weren't giving testimony in this matter.
I would be on duty right now, yes.
So it will also be fair to ask if it would be fair to say that you giving testimony right now, you're still getting paid for it?
Hell yeah.
I am currently employed by the City of Waukesha Police Department on a working patrol shift, on a normal shift for myself, yes.
So
Look at that look.
Would it be fair to say that you are getting paid right now as we speak?
Yes, he pretty much answered that, but you didn't pick it up, doofus.
Yes, I'm getting paid right now.
By whom?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained. Next question.
Really?
Were you subpoenaed by the plaintiff in this matter?
Oh, God.
Can you rephrase the question?
Were you subpoenaed to testify here today by the plaintiff?
Can you explain it in another way?
That was pretty clear.
No, really, it's not.
Were you subpoenaed to testify by the plaintiff in this matter?
Quit clicking
I was
with it.
subpoenaed by the Waukesha County Prosecution's Office to testify in this matter.
And can you say that again just for the record?
Oh, God.
I was subpoenaed by the Waukesha County Prosecution's Office in this matter.
Is the Waukesha County Prosecution's Office the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Do you know of any plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Have you ever seen the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Have you ever talked
Sustained.
to the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Why are you continuing to look at parties that are not asking the questions?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained.
Well, I could answer that right now. If it's you asking the questions, you, Darrell Brooks, I definitely would not want to be looking at your hideous mug. Sorry. Okay, sorry, guys. Yeah, look at that guy's expression. He's just, you know what, too? I got to just pause. I know we want to continue, but it's like all through the trial, he wasted asking all these repetitive questions about the plaintiff when if really he had no case. Maybe that's why he just wanted his fame. But if he was really wanting to build his case, why didn't he ask more relevant questions that would save him? These are just, it's it's just a big waste of time. But he's going to do it because he thinks that's, he thinks he's so brilliant and clever and, just look at him. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I have to take a deep breath because it's just like, ugh. And, the more I watch, even though not all, but most of these I've already seen, I get even angrier. I mean, the only consolation we have is that we know he's convicted, sentenced, and even though, he's out here doing his other, I believe he just, I'll have to look it up. I think it was a really short clip, but I think he had something just this past week, the 23rd. Not much of a big thing, but if I find it, I'll share it. Some of you may have seen it, but okay. Okay, Officer Phillips. He's probably going, I would rather be out on duty than doing this, I'm sure. Okay, here we go. He did not respond.
So, in the video, it's kind of hard to hear everything that was said when you pulled over and interviewed the 3 individuals. Can you give a little more commentary on what was actually said?
Can you clarify exactly?
Yeah, exactly.
What exactly were you told by the 3 individuals that you pulled over to interview?
I don't remember or recall exactly what all 3 individuals said to me, as 1078 in the screams for help by other officials over the radio were directing my attention to figure out what was also going on downtown.
Mm-hmm.
What I recall hearing from these individuals is that one of the individuals that was not Erica indicated that their friend had been in a fight or an altercation. So that's when I decided to pull over to try to get more information out of them. Erica, told me that nothing happened, that there was just a verbal altercation, that she wanted nothing to happen and she just wanted to leave. That's when another one of the individuals said, Erica, you need to report what happened. And she still didn't want to. And that was basically about the extent of it when I just tried to get her name as these calls over the radio were coming for whatever was happening downtown that was unbeknownst to me at the time.
So would it be fair to say that you do recall the commentary?
Oh, for God's sake.
Of the interview?
I'm sorry. Now I will object as argumentative, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Absolutely. Asshole.
What I would say, Mr. Brooks, is the use of the word commentary mischaracterizes the evidence. It's argumentative.
So it would be fair to say that you do recall what was said after already saying you don't recall.
I object. It's argumentative.
Sustained.
Okay, that's what I love about Opera. She is quick. All 3 attorneys are excellent, but she is so quick to jump in and, get those objections up there. I mean, a few, she gave to Darrell, but for the most part, no. I mean, he's just nitpicking. I mean, God, his questions are... I'm actually starting to feel like I'm dumbing down watching so much of Darrell. I see myself hear myself saying axe. It was kind of funny. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going off a little bit, but when I was watching on one of these, I guess it was Court TV, they had a live stream up, and somebody had commented in the chat. Could you imagine how confusing this trial would have been if he was convicted of committing murderers? They'd be saying, I don't know, for whatever reason, it did make me chuckle a little at the time, because goodness knows we have to laugh at this horrible, horrible situation.
Raise your question.
Mm-hmm. TikTok.
It would be fair to say that you responded to a fight at Frame Park, possibly involving a knife. That'd be fair to say.
That is what the initial dispatch was, yes.
Was any knife recovered from that scene, or
I did not recover a knife. No.
did you see anybody with a knife?
I did not see any individual with a knife.
Did you learn who reported that there was a knife involved?
I do not know the subject's names that actually reported the incident, no.
From your recollection, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Just 1 second.
Oh, here we go.
From your recollection, was Erica Patterson being cooperative with the information that she gave you?
Oh, so he's reading that. He knows she
Erica
wasn't.
Patterson was not being cooperative with the information she was giving me, no.
Come on, Dodo.
Do you recall if the male individual reported any information to you?
I believe I heard a male's voice during the time that I was flagged down. I don't recall what information he told me directly.
But there was 3 individuals that you interviewed at that time. Would that be fair to say?
There were 3 individuals present at the time I was flagged down, yes.
One of them was a male. Would that be fair to say?
Correct, yes.
But you don't recall him relaying any type of information to you at that time?
I remember hearing a male's voice. I don't remember what information that specific person told me at that time.
Just so we're clear on the record, about how long did you conduct that interview, would you say? Was it a couple of minutes? Or?
I'd have to look directly at the squad video for an exact timestamp, but I would say it was in the vicinity of 1.5 to 2 minutes.
After you interviewed those 3 individuals, did you later gain any more information of the incident that you were investigating at that time?
I did not gain any further information regarding the specific fight that I was initially dispatched to, no.
just so we're clear for the record, you did not talk to the plaintiff about testifying.
Oh, God.
Objection. Say. Sustain.
Did you say may? Were you contacted in any way by the plaintiff to testify here today?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
Do you know if there's even a plaintiff in this matter?
I was contacted by the Waukesha County District Attorney's Office to testify in this case.
Do you know if that's the plaintiff in this matter?
Generally, in a criminal case, the plaintiff would be the state of Wisconsin. That is my assumption in this case, that the plaintiff is the state of Wisconsin.
So the state of Wisconsin is the plaintiff in this matter, to your knowledge.
Look at him. He's so excited. And he shouldn't be because it's stupid. Sorry, guys. The camera there. He's like, oh, yeah, I got him to answer. But, you know, it didn't serve him any purpose. You're such an idiot.
That would be correct, yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Oh, look at him. Look at him.
Thank you.
Oh.
Do you have any redirect?
Just very briefly, one question. You have been asked by Mr. Brooks if you did anything to further investigate the initial fights that you were dispatched to. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Did you in fact relay to detectives who were working on this parade incident the information you had found out about the link between Erica Patterson and Darrell Brooks?
Yes.
To your knowledge, did detectives then follow up?
To my knowledge, it's detectives that followed up on any further investigation regarding the fight itself.
Thank you. Nothing else.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down.
Good job. That was, you know, he was very sharp. Thank you all for your service. I mean, we know that there are cops who have done bad things, you know, to people, but all in all, just like anything, more good than bad. And what these guys have had to endure, oh, God bless them. Well done, Officer Phillips.
Oh, go ahead. You have your next witness.
Yes, I'd also like to move Exhibit 1C into the record, please.
Exhibit 1C.
Oh, put your damn hand down.
Thank you.
Your objection is noted.
Can I state the grounds?
Really, let's not. Let's not. Okay, let's see.
If I may.
You may.
There's a point in the video that was shown, like, during the interview part between the officer and the three individuals where,
That's not the exhibit we're talking about.
well,
We're talking about 1C, which is the annotations to the map that were made that are captured by the annotation system that the state just moved in and the court received.
okay, I didn't understand what was being referred to. I was going to bring this up, but I wanted to wait.
Sir, let's take it up outside the presence of the
please.
jury.
We're in the middle of
later
the
on. You'll
trial.
have to remind me later. I've already received the video, which is exhibit number 6.
That video has some language in it that you made an order on. So I just want to put that on the record. Something that you ruled on.
Sir, we'll take it up outside the presence of the jury. All right? I need to keep going on. Next witness, please.
State will call Kyle Edwards.
Please make your way to the witness stand, which is to my right. It is up a riser. When you get to the witness stand, please remain standing, raise your right hand, and my clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please be seated. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Kyle Edwards, Kyleedwards.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, I gotta pause. Look at him for the look at that fool. Must he really fool around with those papers while the witness is sitting down? You know, he was worried about Officer Phillips paying attention. You know, he should be paying attention to what the prosecution is asking this fellow instead of fooling around with those ridiculous papers. Ugh. Okay. Here we go.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for being here. What city or town do you live in, sir?
At the time, Waukesha. Right
Okay.
now I live in Pewaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay. So back in November of 2021, you lived here in Waukesha. Is that correct? Okay. And I just want to ask you very briefly, do you have any medical training, sir?
I've been in the service for 17 years, so limited combat lifesaver, you know, just basic army warrior tasks, that type of medical stuff.
Okay. And on November 21 of 2021, did you make plans to attend the Waukesha Christmas parade?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you attending that parade with any family members?
Yeah, my wife and 2 kids at the time.
Okay. Did you travel to the area where the parade was being held by car?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you remember what road you may have taken to approach the parade area?
Yeah, we lived just east of Frame Park, so we crossed the river and then came up into the downtown area using North Street, East North Street.
Okay. And was there a time when you came to the intersection of North Street and Barstow?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, at the corner of East North Street and Barstow, there was a stoplight there. So.
Okay. I'm going to put up a document that's been labeled as Exhibit Number 7. You get a chance to look at it on your screen first, sir.
Good Lord. Look at him.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, could you? There we go. Thank you. Do you see Exhibit 7 on the screen in front of you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize what's shown in Exhibit Number 7?
I do, ma'am.
What do you see there, sir?
So that's the intersection we had stopped at. We were coming southwest on North Street, which at the time was a one-way, and stopped at the intersection of East North Street and Barstow with a gas station on our left.
Okay. Does the photograph in Exhibit Number 7 accurately represent that intersection to the best of your knowledge, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Move to admit and permission to publish Number 7, please.
Any position on that, Mr. Brooks?
Yeah, object.
Yeah, same old, same old.
Your objection is noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 7 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Well, she has to ask.
Just wait for it to come up on the screen here for everybody to see. Okay. So the roadway is clearly marked as North Street, and the other roadway is clearly marked as Northwest Barstow Street. Do you see that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the big square kind of on the middle right-hand side of the exhibits is the gas station, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is actually a touch screen in front of you, so I'm going to ask you to please mark with an X where you were positioned on North Street. And North Street is a one-way street, is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the direction of travel, if you could mark it in a spot not near where we're going to need to point out other
Yeah.
things?
Yeah, so this is
Okay.
the one way.
Okay, perfect. And what about Barstow Street? Is that one-way or two-way, if you know?
I believe it's a two-way.
Okay. Did you stop at that intersection, sir? That's a controlled intersection?
Yes, we were stopped at the red light.
Okay. And you were in that left-hand lane. It's a two-lane street there? Or 3 lanes maybe?
2 or 3. There might be. It looks like there's a turn lane there. So.
Okay. And so you're stopped at the lane closest to the gas station?
That's correct.
And what happened as you're sitting there, sir?
So about the same time as we were coming up to stop at the stoplight, there was a vehicle that made a left from Barstow onto the wrong way to go to the wrong way on North Street and stopped right up against our vehicle. So,
Okay, could you just draw the path of travel that you just described, please?
Yeah.
What kind of vehicle was this, sir?
It was a red SUV, kind of an older model.
Do you know maker model specifically or not really?
At the time, no. No, I wouldn't be able to say. Just a red SUV, so.
Okay. And you've already indicated that's the wrong way to be going on North Street.
Correct.
So proud. Oh, that's very relevant.
What did you do when you saw
A-hole.
this red SUV turning the wrong way into your path of travel?
We kind of approached that stop line at the same time, and so we were really with the other vehicle hood to hood, and again, my wife and 2 kids were in the car, and the driver of the other vehicle kind of put up their hands. I could see through the 2 windshields that the other driver put up their hands and was kind of gesturing wildly, like, again, I don't know if mouthing is the right word, but kind of frantically. It seemed upset at us that we were, either going the wrong way or. So I kind of did the same thing. Just put my hands up and just kind of was confused because we were coming up to a stoplight and a car had approached us and was hood to hood.
Okay. Did you stay parked hood to hood or what happened?
So the person in the other vehicle kind of made mention with like a knife hand to his right, my left, to go in maybe towards the gas station, but he was kind of pointing to go into the driveway of the gas station. So I looked in my rearview mirror. There was no one parked behind me at the time, and other than that vehicle having to maybe back up into the intersection, I could see that they were motioning to go into the driveway of the gas station.
Okay. Can you point out the driveway, please, for the jury?
Yeah, it's just an open driveway here.
Okay.
So I put the car in reverse, backed up maybe 5 feet, and then the vehicle drove into the gas station parking lot.
Do you know who was driving that car?
Again, windshield to windshield, we were somewhat able to identify basic features, but when the car drove into the parking lot, it kind of stopped, positioned itself at an angle, and the driver rolled down the window.
Okay.
Should I draw where they stopped?
Sure.
So the vehicle drove in and kind of stopped on a diagonal like this.
All right. And you're still stopped at the stoplight
Correct.
there?
Still stopped at the stoplight.
Okay.
So the other driver rolled down the window of their vehicle. I just, as a reaction, also rolled down the window of my. I don't know why. It's just a reaction of. So the other driver rolled down their window, maybe halfway, and stuck his head out and kind of looked back, and he said, why didn't you get out of the way? And I'm trying to get gas.
Wow.
Said, well, it's a one-way.
Okay.
You're going the wrong way down the runway. Well, I'm telling you, I need to get gas. And I go, oh, okay, man. And then it was a green light, and then we proceeded. So.
Okay.
Mm.
Do you think you can identify the driver of that red SUV?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see that person present in this courtroom here?
I do. Yeah.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that Mr. Brooks be instructed to remove his mask temporarily.
Mr. Brooks, you're instructed to take off your mask temporarily and look up, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
At the time, it was a lot more dark facial hair features and longer hair as well. So, because again, I would have saw through the windshield once, but then also with the window rolled down, kind of looking back. So maybe just like the forehead and then the long, massive hair.
Sure. So different than he looks today with kind of a clean shaven or very short hairstyle
Yes,
and
ma'am.
scruff or stubble on his chin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you do think it was Darrell Brooks that was driving that car based on seeing him in court here today?
I do, ma'am.
Okay. Did you continue on to the parade, sir?
Yes, we did, ma'am.
And where did you and your family watch the parade?
We were literally on Broadway Street. So that was one of the streets that intersects at the 5 Points, intersects Main Street. And so it was really windy, so we wanted to kind of face away from the wind with the kids, so we were sitting on Broadway.
I'm sorry, I want to back up one step before I leave the gas station. Did it appear to you as though Mr. Brooks was alone in the car?
Yes, it did.
You only saw one person in that car
That's correct.
at that.
No, it's not.
The objection is overruled. His answer may stand.
Did you see any black female subjects walking in the area during this time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now let's go back to the parade. You said you were near the 5 Points?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were kind of positioned in area, try to get out of the wind, right?
Not out of the wind, but with our backs to the wind. Yes,
Okay. It was very windy that night, right?
Yes.
Overruled.
Did you see a red SUV go through the parade as you were watching it, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you remember seeing, sir?
It was from our left. It approached to right. The direct view in front of us, there were no floats or parade participants. It was kind of a gap in the parade entries.
Okay.
And so the vehicle approached from our left. There was somebody that flew through the air, and then it exited to the right of our perspective, and that's all we saw. So because we were a little bit, maybe a row or two back from the front of the parade, we didn't have a long view of it coming and it leaving. It was kind of an enter the frame of reference and then exit pretty quickly.
Okay. But you did unfortunately see a person flying through the air?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell anything about the person as far as what group or unit they were with? If you know. If you don't know, that's okay.
No, it was just dark clothing.
Okay.
Shut
The
Darrell.
objection is overruled. His answer may stand.
At that point, sir, near that 5 Points intersection, did you hear the horn of the SUV honking as it came through that intersection?
No, ma'am.
What did you do next?
We folded up our two kids in the chair, in the folding parade, lawn chair, and then got them back to the vehicle pretty quickly.
Okay.
And then my wife went to drive the kids home, and then I went back to help out with the craziness. So,
Okay. Why'd you go back to help?
it was just a reaction. I think I'll give credit to my wife. She handed me a couple diapers and a bottle of water and said, you gotta go back. So we were right there.
Okay.
So we went back.
And again, you have some limited first aid training, or perhaps more than basic training. You have some good knowledge from your service in the armed forces, correct?
Basic Army wear tasks include medical training, so yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you able to render aid to any individuals on Main Street?
There were two, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions for you. Mr. Brooks may have some questions.
Here we go.
Mr. Brooks?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Basie. Could I please ask the clerk to make a screenshot and
Don't-
mark it as 1B?
Don't look
and
so
then I would,
disgusted, Darrell, as much as you interrupt, you fool.
7A. Should be right? Yes.
What a loathsome human being.
Thank you.
So that will be marked as 7A. Mr. Brooks, any position on that?
Yeah, I object to the relevancy of it. This what's on the screen right now. We talking about this?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see the relevance of this.
Of course you don't.
Your objection is noted. It's overruled. The court receives Exhibit 7A.
He's very agitated, it looks like to me.
Questions for this witness?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you're so rude. God, you want to just smack him.
And your a written statement.
Oh, here we go.
The statement that you gave to Officer Berg, would that be fair to say?
I don't remember the name of the officer that took my statement.
Would it be fair to say that you were interviewed by an officer, a female officer?
Yes.
And would it also be fair that you you gave a written statement to that same officer?
I think I signed the statement that she wrote.
Ah, see, he didn't write it. So there.
So, be fair to say that the officer wrote down what you told her.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
And do you remember the date that interview took place?
A couple days after the parade incident.
Any reason why it wouldn't have been the same day as the parade?
I would assume that they were rendering aid to the victims of the incident, and it took a while
What a
to
dumb
get
question.
back to anybody that had called in with any altercations, or not altercations, but interactions.
Do you recall stating in this interview that you saw the news and a picture of the male driving the said SUV?
I believe in the statement I said that I wanted to provide a description of who I had the interaction with before I saw any picture of anybody on the news.
Yeah, so there.
So you never stated that since the incident and before the statement that you saw the news and the picture of the male?
I guess I don't understand the question.
In your statement that the officer wrote down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me back up.
God almighty.
Did you see a picture of the alleged defendant on the news?
Yes, but not before I provided the description to the officer.
And he already said that once.
So the description that you gave, would that be the same officer that did the interview?
I called the evening of the incident. I called the non-emergency line and provided the description at maybe 10:30 that evening of the event, and then provided the same description to the officer, a few days later.
Do you recall why you called the non-emergency line for something that would have been so big that it should have been an emergency call?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained, please rephrase the question, Mr. Brooks.
Any reason why you would call the non-emergency line?
Someone going down a wrong way on a one-way street a few minutes before the parade didn't seem like an emergency compared to what had happened at the parade.
Yeah.
So would it be fair to say that you were then reporting someone going down the wrong way, trying to get into the gas station at that time?
At what time?
At the time that you called the non-emergency number.
I wanted to report that I had seen someone in a red SUV going the wrong way down a one-way before the parade, and the possibility that it was connected to the red SUV that I had seen drive through the parade.
So that non-emergency report, as you state, would have been to make a possible connection between the two incidents?
I was just reporting what I had seen.
So at that time, would it be fair to say you weren't sure if there was a connection?
I would say that I had a red SUV 5 feet from my hood, and then I saw a red SUV drive through the parade and wanted to, notify the police that I had seen that.
So at the time, were you sure that there was a connection?
Oh, Lord.
Pretty sure, yes.
And what would have made you pretty sure?
The color of the SUV, the approximate age of the SUV, the timing between the 20 minutes of where I was in Waukesha to the 25 minutes later that I had seen the red SUV go through the parade.
Would it be fair to say that you just described the the SUV that made the wrong turn going into the gas station as a older model. I think that was your correct words. Is that fair?
Yes.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't be able to make the connection between the older model SUV that you saw going into the gas station and the one that you saw in the parade?
No, they were a similar age. I guess older subjective. I mean, it was a similar age, the one I saw before the parade and the one I saw during the parade.
So it'd be fair to say that you weren't exactly sure.
I'm pretty sure they were the same vehicle.
Don't put words in his mouth.
Do you recall in your statement saying that you were 95% sure?
That sounds right, yes. 95%. I would give that same percentage, yes.
Why not? Why would you not be 100% sure if you say that
Oh, for God's sake.
you believe?
Okay, for God's sake, Darrell. That man's gonna laugh. 95% is pretty good. He's just making things up. You're not creative. You're an idiot.
That they were the same vehicle?
Objection, argumentative.
Yeah, for real.
Sustained. Please rephrase the question, Mr. Brooks.
I guess I'll say it like, what put any doubt in your head that they weren't the same vehicle?
I wasn't able to see the driver of the person going through the parade because it was moving so fast. So I guess there's a very, very small chance that the red SUV I saw beforehand happened to be a similar year, make, and model and color of the SUV that I saw go through the parade.
So, you weren't exactly sure who was driving the SUV in the parade?
Correct.
Do you recall in the statement that the officer wrote down? Do you recall telling the officer that was writing the report that you're 95% sure the male you saw prior to the parade at the gas station was the one driving through the parade route?
As far as I would not be able to identify who was driving through the parade route because the vehicle was moving too fast.
Do you recall saying that his voice was the same?
Yes. So when the second interview had taken place, again, I wanted to provide the description to the officer, the visual description the night of. But just as I did now, I'm 95% sure that the interaction that I had prior to the parade was with you.
Yeah, you.
Who do you refer to when you say you?
Whatever your name is.
Quit baiting him, you idiot.
So you don't know the alleged defendant's name?
I do, yeah.
Come on. Don't bait him, Darrell.
Would it be safe to assume that if you couldn't see who was driving the SUV in the parade route, that you also couldn't identify if it was the same voice?
The voice has nothing to do with the driver of the vehicle driving the parade. Again, it was moving too quickly. I wasn't able to identify the driver when I saw the vehicle going through the parade.
So would it be safe to assume that you got the description from the news and picture of the person that you seen on the news?
The person and the voice that I saw in the news matched who I interacted with prior to the parade.
Prior, Darrell.
Just so we're clear for the record, there was no way you saw who was driving the vehicle in the parade route.
That's correct. But we all know now.
going back to the interaction at the gas station. Do you recall telling the interviewing officer that the driver of that vehicle rolled down the window to say, "I'm almost out of gas"?
Yes.
Do you recall backing your vehicle up to let the driver of that car into the gas station?
Yes.
Did you say thank you?
Do you remember how far you backed up?
5 feet.
Do you remember telling the reporting officer who was writing down your statement that it was 10 feet?
Oh,
5 to 10 feet.
good God.
Was it 5 feet or 10 feet?
It was
Oh
enough
my
to let the vehicle into
Gosh,
the gas
that's
station.
so stupid.
So would it be safe to say that you don't recall?
It would be safe to say it's between 5 and 10 feet.
Yeah. Ass. What else you got?
After your initial non-emergency call, it was the night of the parade that you made the non-emergency call, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall how long after that you were then interviewed by law enforcement?
A few days.
Did you try to attempt to call and report again?
Yes, I think so. I think I'd called again maybe a day or two later, just because again it was when I first called the night of. They seemed to be pretty busy, so I called a day or two later just to make sure that anybody had taken down the statement that I had made the night of, and then it was a couple days later that the officer came out to interview me.
Would it be fair to state that at that time you were still seeking to report what had happened at the gas station?
That's correct.
So you weren't seeking to report any connection between the gas station incident and what you saw in the parade route?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled, he may answer.
I was calling to report what I had seen before the parade.
And the second reporting was before you actually were interviewed, correct? Just so we're clear for the record.
For the record.
What do you mean by the second reporting?
The second time that you called to make a report about the gas station incident, that was before you ultimately were interviewed by law enforcement.
That's correct. The second call was just to make sure that they still had my name, and I didn't really file a formal report that second time. It was just a call to see that they still had my name and contact info, and they had said that an officer would be out eventually to interview.
At that time, when you called to make sure that they still had your name on file or your report about the gas station incident, at that time, had you made any connection to that incident and what you saw at the parade?
I'm going to object. We've been through this.
Sustained.
Yeah, we really have. He already asked that.
Mr. Brooks, I draw your attention once again to 90611.
Noted.
Next topic, please.
Noted. And were you subpoenaed by the state of Wisconsin to testify here today?
I was either the state or the county. I received a letter from the county.
Did they identify as the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Do you see the state of Wisconsin in the courtroom today?
Objection, Your Honor, vague.
Sustained.
to the best of your knowledge, do you know if the state of Wisconsin is the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Have you ever had any interaction with the state of Wisconsin?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Ever had a phone conversation with the state of Wisconsin?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Do you even know the state of Wisconsin?
Same objection.
Sustained. Mr.
And
Brooks, new topic, or I'll stop the cross-examination under 90611.
One second.
What you gonna make up now?
Did you long approximately you were stopped at the red light during the gas station incident?
A minute or two.
Did you ever see the vehicle that went into the gas station actually get gas?
When we turned left onto Barstow, I noticed that the vehicle didn't stop for gas and was gonna either exit to go back on north, but it didn't stop at a gas pump.
Did you see the vehicle pull off from the gas station, or was it just kind of stationary parked?
I can't say what the vehicle did because I was already at that point out of view. I just know that it had not gone to one of the gas pumps.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down.
He's like, thank God that nightmare's
State may
over.
call its next witness, please.
Thank you. State calls Holly Berg.
Oh my gosh, where's Brooks? Is he way down there digging in his boxes? Of course he is. Or maybe he's checking his shackles that have shock devices on it. Good gosh.
We have Ms. Berg. Good afternoon. If you would please make your way to the witness stand. It is to my right, upper riser. When you get there, please raise your right hand. Remain standing, raise your right hand, and I sent my clerk on an errand, so I will swear you in. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Thank you. Have a seat, please. When you are seated, the first thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each, please.
Holly Berg, Hollylbyberg.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Berg, thank you for your appearance here this afternoon. I'd like to ask you about the events of November 21, 2021, okay? Do you remember that afternoon, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, what you were doing?
Yes.
What was that?
I was dropping my boyfriend's daughter, who was 5 at the time, at with her dance company on White Rock Avenue at their staging area,
Okay.
to get ready for the parade.
So your boyfriend's daughter was going to participate in the parade?
Yes.
Okay. And you had to drop her off on White Rock?
Mhm.
Okay.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
And
My
then,
job to make sure the record's clear, so if you nod your head or say,
Okay.
I'll clarify. It's okay, people do it all the time.
and after you dropped her off, were you planning to attend the parade then?
Yes.
And where were you planning to watch the parade from?
Earlier that morning, we went and put our chairs and blankets on a spot on Main and Maple right on the corner,
Okay. And do you know if you were on the north side of the street or the south side of the street?
south side.
South side of the street. And do you know any businesses that were nearby that you can remember?
Yeah, we were right across from Main Street Bar and Grill.
Okay.
Main Street.
Okay, Mainstream Bar and Grill?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And as you were traveling to the parade after dropping off your boyfriend's daughter, did you travel along North Street?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask to display exhibit number 7, which has already been admitted, Your Honor.
Permission to publish exhibit 7 is granted.
All right, so it's up on the big screens. It's also on the monitor in front of you.
Okay.
And that's actually a touch screen, so I will ask you to please put an X in the area where you were as you approach the intersection of North Street and Barstow Street.
Sure. I was right here in the second lane. This was probably one lane too close. I drew the X.
Okay,
We can clear it and she can do it again if it's not accurate.
yeah, it's not the
So I was right
greatest.
here in the,
Okay,
oh my gosh.
in the center lane.
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on, I wonder if she, you may have clicked the arrow, which is okay. There's multiple ways to annotate. So try it again and see what comes up.
There we go.
Okay. And as you approach that intersection, do you remember if you had to stop for the stoplight there?
Yes, it had just turned red.
Okay. Did you see any cars around you on North Street?
Yes, there was a car to my left. I think it was silver. And I think there was a car on my right.
Okay. And the car on your left then would be in the lane closest to the gas station, correct?
Correct, right at the corner.
Okay. There is a gas station right there, that big box in the middle of the
Yes.
street. Okay. What do you remember happening as you sat there at the stoplight?
So I stopped at the stoplight, and I immediately saw a red SUV come from down the hill on Barstow, and it turned into North Street to go into the gas station. However, it turned on a one-way street, and it was like head-to-head with the car next to me in the first lane. And so I was right next to the silver car.
Sure.
And
How about, could you draw that for us on the map?
Yeah.
The best you can, please.
Yep, so it came down here and into this first lane right here.
Okay. And that's where the silver car was parked?
Yeah.
Or stopped, I should say.
Yes, and there is a driveway to the gas station right here,
Okay.
and the silver car was blocking that driveway because it's an exit, not an enter.
Okay. And so you saw the SUV go kind of hood to hood or head to head, you
Yes.
said, with the silver car.
Yeah, and I was looking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is coming trying to get onto our one-way street, and I saw a bunch of arm flailing from.
By who?
I think both vehicles, because presumably the red SUV is mad that the silver car is blocking to get into the gas station. The silver car is like, I'm not doing anything wrong. So they were both kind of upset. And then I noticed the silver car backed up to allow the red SUV to get into the gas station.
Okay. Could you see into the red SUV and see the driver of that vehicle?
When I was, before it had entered before silver car backed up and red SUV went into the driveway, I could just see outline.
Okay.
However, after the SUV pulled in, he stopped immediately as soon as he got into the driveway and stuck his head out and was still doing this, like yelling at the silver car.
Gesturing. And,
Yes.
yelling? Could you hear what was being said?
No, I had my window up.
You had your window up, okay, but you could, it appeared he was yelling.
Yes.
Did he appear angry to you?
Irritated.
Okay. And could you tell how many people were in that red SUV at that point? Or did you see anybody other than the driver?
I did not see anybody else.
Okay. Do you think you can identify the driver of that red SUV?
Yes.
Is that person present in the courtroom here today?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to ask Mr. Brooks to remove his mask, Your Honor, for identification by this witness.
Mr. Brooks, thank you. Record to reflect, he took his mask down.
Yes.
Is that the driver of the red SUV you just described for us?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you eventually go on to the parade?
Yes. So right after, 5 seconds after the SUV got in and stuck his head out, then the light turned green and I went and parked my car,
Okay.
and then met with my family at
Okay.
the location.
Okay. And did you see a red SUV on the parade route?
Yes, about 30 minutes into getting there.
Okay. So I'm just going to slow down here a little bit, okay? You're doing a great job, thank you. I just want to ask you now, as you're standing there at the parade, what do you remember about the first time you saw that red SUV?
So at first, so a group had just passed us. I believe it was the Catholic community group. And then there was a large gap. And so I looked to see, what's next.
Okay.
And saw a red SUV, which I originally thought was part of the parade, in the far right lane of Main Street. But it was going really fast, and I said to myself, why is this going so fast? And then it clicked as soon as it switched over to the far left lane, and then into the group of people right in front of me.
And that would be the Catholic community group?
I do believe so.
Did you see the red SUV strike any people in the Catholic community group?
Several.
Can you estimate how many?
At least 15.
Okay. And did, I'm sorry to ask it this way, but did you see anybody actually fly or roll or tumble?
Yeah, so originally I heard sounds like thuds, and then
Gosh, guys.
it was in the air, like bowling pins.
Okay.
Bowling pins. Wow.
Did you get a look at the driver of the vehicle as it went through the parade?
So despicable.
Yeah, when I had just said it veered to the left and then struck the group of people, it was about probably 6 or 7 feet from where I was standing,
Okay.
and I saw directly through the driver's window.
What did you see?
I saw a man focused on the group ahead of him.
Is that Darrell Brooks that you saw?
Yes. And as soon as that happened, about 10 seconds after, I froze and I said to my mom, who was with me, I just saw that guy at the gas station. And it clicked that it was the same person.
You remember exactly that it was the same person?
Yes.
Okay. You described hearing some noises that you described as thuds, is that right?
Yes.
People.
What do you think that noise was?
Hitting a large group of people with a vehicle.
Okay. Did you hear Mr. Brooks honking the horn in the vehicle at all?
No.
You described some driving maneuvers. We saw him going from side to side of the road. Is that correct?
Yeah, I saw it coming up Main Street in the far right lane, and I was in the far left, on the sidewalk of the far left, and it was then in the far left lane.
Okay. Were you able to estimate the speed of the vehicle at that time?
Objection, hearsay.
The,
Overruled.
no, it's not. She's the first
Would you be able
witness.
to estimate the speed?
To the best of my knowledge, I would say 20 miles per hour, perhaps.
Okay. Did you ever see the vehicle stop?
I think it had to at least very well slow down. It couldn't just continue on over as many bodies as it did. I remember the brake lights, but then it continued.
Did you actually see the vehicle drive over people?
I saw it hit the group and people fly, and then there was just chaos in the street.
Okay. Had your boyfriend's daughter already gone through?
No, she had not.
Okay. So she was back waiting to join the parade, or
We
did you
didn't
know where she
know
was?
at the time, no. So as soon as it happened, my boyfriend leaped up to go help people, and I grabbed him. I said, no, go find her. So then he took off and had to go find her down 5 blocks.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am. I don't have any other questions for you.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any cross-exam for this witness?
I do. First of all, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, your ass. Sorry, guys. Yeah, right there. Those are 2 excellent witnesses. They saw him agitated, going down the wrong way, and of course blaming others for his faults. And then they saw him again at the parade. I mean, there's so many witnesses. He could have pleaded guilty, but he's not going to do that. He's going to make everybody's life miserable.
You stated that you saw brake lights. Would that be fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Would it be fair to say you would only see brake lights from a vehicle if it was attempting to stop?
Or slow.
So, just so I'm clear on that, you would see brake lights on a vehicle that is attempting to slow down or stop.
Sure.
And you stated that you can estimate the speed of the vehicle.
I estimated 20 miles per hour.
And would you characterize that as extremely fast?
Yes, for the parade, yes.
For a parade route, hell yes.
And how did you come to the conclusion of the speed?
Oh, Lord. She estimated.
With how quickly it went from point A to point B in my range of sight.
Going back to the gas station incident, you were. I guess I would need to see the map again.
We still have that available? The map? We still have the map with the markings available, or was it cleared after we captured it?
I didn't clear it. Yeah,
Okay.
could we please say that as 7B, please, Your Honor?
It will be saved as 7E.
And admitted.
Any position on that, Mr. Brooks?
Yeah, I don't see the relevancy of the map.
Of course you
Directly
don't.
related to her testimony, sir. It's relevant. Your objection is noted.
So
It's overruled. Exhibit 7B is
Then
received.
is he going to use the map to ask us questions?
where were you positioned again at the stoplight?
Exactly.
I was in the front row in the middle lane.
remember if it was a car to your right?
I think there was a car to my right.
Do you recall if the vehicle you saw going into the gas station had any tinted windows?
I do not.
And you stated that you were pretty sure it was only one occupant of that vehicle?
Yes, that's all I could see.
With all you can see, or are you sure that it was only one occupant?
I could see one person.
So it'd be fair to say you couldn't see any other seats in the vehicle?
I saw one person when it was head to head with the vehicle next to me, the one with the arms in the air, and then I saw one person as he stuck his head out the window once he pulled in.
Could you see the passenger seat?
I could not from that point.
Could you see the back seats?
No.
Are we done with the map? I'd like to turn it
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Map you didn't want to be entered in, but you still used it. Mm-hmm.
Do you recall who subpoenaed you here to testify?
Oh, God, here we go.
Yes.
You stated for the record?
Yes, I said. Oh, the state of Wisconsin District Attorney.
Do you see the state of Wisconsin present in the courtroom today?
Such a waste.
Irrelevant.
Sustained. Mr. Brooks, move on. Under 90611, I've sustained all of the objections related to this line of questioning. It's not relevant. Next topic, or I will find that the cross-examination by you is done.
So you're sustaining every question pertaining to that part of the question? Or is it for
Yes.
every testimony?
Oh,
It's on
ever.
that topic, so
Ever.
you may continue if you choose another topic.
Have you ever seen the plaintiff state of Wisconsin before?
Right, pursuant to
Done.
90611, judge controls the order and mode of interrogation, that these questions violate sub 1, and Mr. Brooks will not be able to ask any further questions of this witness. State have any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may step down.
I don't even know why he would want to go back and question about the gas station when he clearly was in the wrong there.
What did was
Mr. Brooks,
violated?
I'm not going to address that right now.
Shut up.
I think this will be a good time to take our afternoon break. So we'll be, I need to address a couple things with the parties, but as far
Oh
as
my
the
God, did he
jurors are
disappear
concerned,
again into his
about 15
box?
minutes for the afternoon
Why don't you
break.
just crawl in your little box and stay
All rise
there?
for the jurors, please.
I mean, where is he? That's funny. Oh, I see his name. Look at him. Stupid boxes. Yeah, I remember it was at this point that he wasn't rising for the jury, and then she did finally tell him to. Such a despicable human. Animal. No, that's disrespecting the animals. Evil monster.
This has passed 3 notes to the court. I
3 love
review them
letters.
as they come in. At times I put no response needed by the court. I initial it, date it, put the time. These will be uploaded into the file at some point. There was one particular request I do want to take up by Mr. Brooks, and that is at 1:11 p.m. he sent a note to the court indicating, "I'm very emotional right now. Can I go to the other court?" I responded to that at 1:20 p.m. and I said the court will address this at the next break. Clerk advised to provide a copy of this response to the parties forthwith. I believe she may have provided even the other note, a copy of the other note and my response at that time, but at a minimum I know my response was copied and provided to the parties. I did note that I saw Mr. Brooks reviewing the papers. They were put on the corner of his table. I wrote down the time. It's not at my fingertips. I'll look for that. But in any event, I did want to address that with you, Mr. Brooks. You've been in the courtroom. You've been meaningfully participating. Are you asking to go to the other courtroom?
We went back on the record. I was very emotional at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Still very emotional.
Yeah, I gotta stop. I'm sorry. I will let him finish, but it's like, oh, he wants to leave the courtroom because he's emotional. What about the victims and the witnesses he puts through the ringer? They didn't get to leave the courtroom. Such an entitled, arrogant oaf. We'll call him an oaf.
But I'm attempting as best I can to hold it together.
Oh, bless your heart. You're so brave.
That does lead me to, since we are addressing certain things outside the...
Well, I'm addressing this first, sir. Are you...
Yeah, don't
making
take
a
order.
request to go to the other
I'm not
courtroom?
making any requests at this time. Like I just stated, I'm
Such
trying my
an
best to
ass.
hold everything together considering
Considering
how
what?
this day has been. I can't
Oh,
expect anybody else to
no, they
know
really,
what's inside my head, to know what I'm going.
we don't want to know what's in your head. We don't want to know what's going inside of it. Nobody has suffered more than this little wonderful town of Waukesha that you tried to damage, but you didn't succeed because you're trash and a coward, and they're class and brave.
I do right now, but yeah, we'll just leave that there.
Yeah, leave
All right,
it
thank
there.
you. That is noted for the record. At some point, sir, after I admitted Exhibit 6, you raised an objection. I told you I would allow you to raise that outside the presence of the jury. Now is your opportunity to do that.
And which one would you be referring to?
Exhibit 6, sir.
Or the video?
We've seen multiple videos, but yes, Exhibit 6 is a video, sir.
I think it's very clear what I was referring to in that video. The interview portion of the officer with the 3 individuals has language in it that you made a ruling about, pertaining to a whole different entire...
Which part of the video, sir?
The interview part. I'm going to say it again, as I've already said it clearly enough. The interview part between the officer and the 3 individuals.
You know what? I can't sit here and say, I tried to defend Mama there, but she sure didn't teach him manners, or she was unsuccessful. Ugh, so rude.
And what specifically are you referring to? What statement, sir? I need some specificity
Do you need it
to
played?
that.
Do you need it played?
Mr. Brooks, you're the one making the objection. Please make your offer of proof so I can rule on it.
The offer of proof is that there's language said by Erica Patterson in that interview that can be audible, referring to another situation in another county. You made a ruling on that would not be admitted into evidence. So at the very least, that portion of the video that you've already admitted into evidence should be removed, or the whole video should be struck and removed from the record. And I'm saying that because of the ruling that you made, the judicial determination that you made, Your Honor.
Let me turn to the state attorney. Opper, I don't specifically recall. If I need to review it on a break, maybe I will, but do you have any idea what this is referring to?
I do not, Your Honor. I did not hear anything in that recording that would violate your previous orders.
It's very clear if the video was played that you can hear language said in that portion of the video that you clearly ruled on.
Clearly.
I'll review it at a later point in time. The state will need to just file that clip on a flash drive so I can review that in chambers. From my perspective, even if there were to be something, it was not offered for the truth of the matter asserted. This was to provide an account of what the officer was experiencing, but I'll review it. If there is something in there, I certainly can. It doesn't change the fact that the video itself is admissible. It might have an impact on whether it's played again for the jury, at least at that particular point. But again, I didn't personally catch that, but there was a lot going on in that video at that time, a lot of audio. There's clearly, in addition to the audio from the squad, you can hear the radio. So I will need to review it again. Mr. Brooks, I'd appreciate if you not roll your eyes at me. There was a lot going on in that video. I don't think anyone in this courtroom would disagree with me. What I'm telling you, I'm giving you the opportunity to raise the issue since you essentially didn't, well, let me state it this way. You raised it when you thought it was appropriate. I told you I'd take it up outside the presence of the jury. That's what I'm giving you the opportunity to do. What I'm telling you is I'm not going to make a ruling specifically because I need to watch the video. And so I don't think that's something you should be rolling your eyes at. That's proper for this court. It would be something that if I were to just give my ruling right now, it would be something that someone could look at later on and say, well, you just admitted on the record, you didn't hear it yourself. So what I'm telling you, sir, is I'm gonna take the time, not now during the trial, but on a break when I can look at it in chambers and keep a careful ear out for what you said, and then I'll come back and make my ruling. So that's giving deference to your request. So I don't think it warrants you rolling your eyes at me.
I wasn't rolling my eyes to you about
so
that.
So with that, we're on recess. 15 minutes, everyone. The court's...
Yeah, she's had it with you. Yep. She's had it with him. He's so freaking rude. And the thing is, two things. If he heard it, okay. I don't think they're going to take away the entire video. But the one thing it will prove is if he does hear something the others didn't hear, this kind of debunks his little game about not being able to hear. You know, he might win a little point for that, but it also proves that he can hear very well. And number two, he expects her to just stop everything, maybe. Well, of course, it's another stall tactic. Stop everything right then and there and look at it. You know, he has no respect for her authority or anyone's for that matter and wants it done right then. See, probably that's what happened with Mama. I want your car, Mama, your SUV right now, and I want your key. And by gosh, he got his way, and look what happened. All right, let's see what happens next.
Be seated. We are back on the record. Mr. Brooks, you have incredible hearing because you are right. At approximately 2:58 to 2:59 in that video, I can hear Erica Patterson saying that I get into an argument, or I argue with my baby daddy all the time, and he previously ran over my foot. So, I'm going to take the request under advisement. At this point, I'm inclined to strike this exhibit from the state's case. I'm going to give the parties over the weekend to file any written requests regarding it or further authority, and I'll address it first thing Monday morning. So thank you for bringing that to my attention.
I interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Damn it. I hate when she's right. But again, you notice how she pointed out, Mr. Brooks, you have incredible hearing. So I just wonder if he'll bring up about his hearing later. Love to say, for the record. Anyways, whatever. Here we go. Let's see what he has to yap about now.
Did you make a ruling on the filing for the demand of verified statement of particulars by affidavit?
Mr. Brooks, I'm not going to address that.
Oh,
it is an
Lord.
argument that's without merit. I'm summarily
Same
denying
old
it
crap.
yet again. We're going to bring the jury back out, okay? We're going to continue with testimony. Does the state have the next witness available?
We do, Your Honor.
Your objection is noted for the record. We're continuing, Mr. Brooks. Thank you.
I'm aware of that, Your Honor. I was just trying to make sure I didn't interrupt you while you were saying something.
Leave the air gun on, please.
So will
State's next witness, please.
Will you be proving the subject matter?
You are interrupting.
Oh, we do. Oh, sometimes I get a little ahead of myself. Let's bring the jury out.
Tenant's motion to dismiss this case for lack of personal and
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
subject matter
Darrell.
jurisdiction.
Yeah, you should have just, yeah, are you
And
still
I'd
trying,
like to state that for the record.
oh, are you still trying to pull it together? And he had good hearing. Also, I think I remember him saying to the officer, when he was questioning him or cross-examining him, something like, I didn't hear very well what it said there, which is neither here nor there. I'm just saying he's such a big, a big, tiny liar. Okay, I believe, let me make sure they have coming up next to, I think it is.
Record.
Your statement is noted.
You have not proven subject matter jurisdiction yet, Your Honor.
Don't get cocky.
Are you making a judicial
And I
determination?
direct your attention to the Barnaby decision, Mr. Brooks.
Is that a judicial determination?
How about, is your mask on wrong side out again? That's even more important. The jury needs to know. Can you put your mask on correctly? Because it sure looks like it's wrong side out to me. That's what the jury wants to know.
The record should reflect then that I got no answer.
Wow. Please read your Bible. You really need some help. Some salvation.
All rise for the jury.
Guys, I want to jump through the screen and just pound him to the ground.
All right, thank you, everyone. Please be seated. State may call its next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Detective Casey.
Shut up.
All right, Detective Casey, if you would please take the witness stand.
This, oh, he's getting ready to yap, but this is, Detective Casey kind of pulls it all. Well, not, see, I'm trying to get it to where we're pulling it all together. So it's like we already know there was the altercation with him and Erica. And then the officer that went to see about the alleged fight, and then had to go to the parade, only to find out that after he did his damage there with Erica and Corey and Nick, that then he, went to the gas station where he had two eyewitnesses. Yeah. So two eyewitnesses, and then they saw him at the parade. And so Detective Casey, which y'all probably already know, he's the lead detective in the case. And so he's going to I think he's going to show the map and explain, the order of all these groups and, the order in which they were struck. So it really does tie it all together. I mean, of course, there'll be further things, more victims, more police officers, but this kind of helps put it all in perspective for those of you who have not seen it all. So let's go. Let's see if he's going to try to say something before Detective Casey even gets up there.
When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand, and my clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please be seated. Would you please state your first and last names for the record and spell each?
Thomas Casey, Thomas, Casey, Casey.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Detective Casey, what is your current employment?
I'm employed by the City Waukesha Police Department.
And what is your rank?
I'm a detective.
How long have you worked in law enforcement?
Over 25 years.
And, directing your attention to the date of November 21, 2021, were you on duty that day, sir?
Yes, I was.
In what capacity?
Well, my rank was detective, but I was assigned to the Christmas parade as traffic control.
Okay. Just helping out?
Just helping out.
All right. And have you patrolled the Christmas parade in the past, sir?
Yes, I have for many years.
Okay. And the parade's always held on Main Street in downtown Waukesha, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. About what time did you report to the parade route?
Really? Are you kidding me? Every time somebody testifies, he's getting up with those stupid boxes and papers. He's so rude. Look at him. Oh my gosh. You really should be studying that paperback Bible. But you gotta do you, boo.
That day, myself and 3 other people started at 1 p.m.
And where'd you go?
My position was on White Rock Avenue and East Main Street.
Okay. And as a detective, you typically dress in plain clothes, is that correct?
Typically.
That day, were you in plain clothes or police uniform?
I was in a police uniform.
Could you describe that for the jury, please?
I had a jacket on that had shoulder patches on each side. I had a hat that said police on the top of it. And I had a neon vest on that said police on the front and back of it.
Were you driving a squad car?
I had an unmarked squad with me, and I also had a marked Ford Explorer with me.
And the unmarked squad, are there any red and blue emergency lights on that squad, sir?
Yes, there are.
In more than one location?
Yes, the front, rears, and then the sides.
Okay. at your post there on White Rock and Main Street, did you have your unmarked squad parked there?
Yes, I did.
And then there was also a marked squad parked there.
Correct.
Were the red and blue lights activated on those squads?
Yes, they were.
What was the purpose in activating the red and blue lights?
To notify traffic that the road was closed down, make it easier to see.
Okay. And you said you reported for duty at 1 p.m.?
Yes.
And about what time was it when you actually went down to the parade route and shut down that intersection?
Right when I got there at 1 p.m.
Okay. So that area was closed since 1 p.m. that afternoon?
Correct. So the area on White Rock Avenue between Niagara and Main Street is the staging area for the parade floats when they come in. So they close that area about 3 hours earlier before the parade starts.
I see. What was the weather like that day?
It's very cold and windy out.
What time was the parade supposed to start?
4 p.m.
And do you know about how many units were participating in the parade?
There were 67 units that were assigned that day.
And all of them are told to report to the staging area to line up before they get onto the parade route, is that right?
Correct. The roadway is closed in my position, and they're all supposed to enter from the north and come south.
Okay. How many spectators would you estimate were present at the parade?
Oh, there had to be at least 5,000 people. The parade route is about 0.6 of a mile long. The sidewalks were packed. There were some people in the roadways, so we estimate that there was probably at least 5,000 people watching the parade that day.
Okay. And you're obviously aware, sir, that there was a tragic event that occurred as the parade was underway, correct?
Correct.
Do you know of the 67 units that you told us about, how many units were impacted directly by the conduct of Mr. Darrell Brooks?
There was 8 units that all had people that were injured during the parade.
And you know which units those are, or which groups those are?
Yes, I do.
If I were to show you video of those groups early in the parade route before the SUV goes through, would you be able to identify those groups for us and tell us a little bit about each one?
Certainly.
All right. Just to be clear, sir, well, if we could please put up Exhibit 1. It's the easiest way to ask my question.
Exhibit 1 will be published.
I would quickly like to object to being called that name. I do not recognize that name that the prosecutor used.
Your objection is noted, it's overruled.
So, again, the direction of travel for the parade is what? Which direction, sir?
The parade starts in this area right here.
Okay.
This here is the staging area, and it travels this way, which is southwesterly fashion, and then it proceeds this direction, which is west.
Okay. So, the units that were struck first by the SUV were near the end of the parade, correct?
Near the end or maybe the middle. There were still some parades that haven't even started the parade route yet, and there were some that had already finished.
Okay. And so we'll just play these videos, please, and I'm going to ask you again as we play them to identify the various groups that were impacted. So,
Attorney Upper, any request as relates to the annotation?
no, I don't think so, not at this time, Your Honor. We can let that one go.
All right, Mr. Brooks, any request as it relates to the annotation?
I don't understand what is annotation.
Next time, wait. The monitor, the touch screen made annotations, made marks. We've been capturing it. The state said they were not asking that an exhibit be made. Unfortunately, they're no longer on there. So we won't have the specific markings. Would you have wanted those markings to be captured? Okay, because I would give instructions to Detective Casey to redo them if you wanted.
No.
All right, then go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna ask, we're gonna preview Exhibit 10, please. Do you see the beginning of Exhibit 10 on your screen, sir?
No, I do not.
It should be, it might take a second or two.
I have an image on there now.
Okay. Do you recognize that image?
Yes, I do.
And do you know Exhibit 10 to be a video clip?
Yes, I do.
Looking at it right now, do you recognize the group that is displayed on that first screenshot, I guess, from the video that's displayed?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what group do you see there, sir?
The Catholic Communities of Waukesha.
Okay. And do you believe this clip that we're about to show the jury will be a truthful and accurate representation of the parade units as they entered the parade route?
Overruled.
Yes, I do believe that they do.
Okay. Move to admit number 10 and permission to publish, Your Honor.
For the record, how long is Exhibit 10?
It is 3 minutes and 31 seconds, Your Honor.
Any position by Mr. Brooks? Your objection is noted. It's overruled. Permission. The Exhibit 10 is received. Permission to publish is granted. Mr. Brooks, your objection is noted. It's overruled. I'll answer this. I believe the evidence is relevant to the charges in this case.
Detective Casey, before we begin playing the video, what do you see? Could you please describe for the jury and orient them to what they're seeing at this point?
So this would be the Catholic Communities of Waukesha. They would be marching westbound on Main Street, which is at the early beginning of the parade. And the cross street there would be East Avenue, and the church behind them should be St. Matthias Church.
Okay. And did they have a banner in front of their group as they marched down the road?
Yes, they do.
Okay. To your knowledge, sir, you've seen many videos from this parade, correct?
Correct.
And you saw some of these units, at least as they entered the route, correct?
Correct.
Did the Catholic Community of Waukesha, did the participants for that group wear any specific clothing or uniforms, to your knowledge?
No, they do not.
The objection is noted. It's overruled, and the answer may stand.
And to your knowledge, did they walk in any sort of formation?
It was just a random formation. Sometimes they changed a little bit as they were walking.
Okay. Please play.
So surreal, not knowing they're going to be run over in just a few short moments. It's crazy.
And now it's about the 24-second mark. What's the next unit coming into the screen?
The Dancing Grannies?
Okay. And they had a banner?
Correct.
Okay.
And the woman on the left-hand side of the screen is Virginia Sorensen.
On the left-hand side of the screen or the left-hand side of the street?
Objection. That was not the question asked, who the person was.
I'll sustain the objection. The answer was non-responsive. I'll strike it. Next question. Juries shall disregard the last answer provided by Detective Casey.
All right. Actually, we're just going to play this and we won't identify any people at this point. To your knowledge, sir, did the Dancing Grannies have a uniform?
Yes, they did.
Do you remember generally what it looked like?
It was a blue dress. They had hats. They had some lights around them.
Okay.
White tennis shoes.
Okay. And did they march in a formation, to your knowledge?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Please play.
Just seeing that, knowing that, it's so sad. That's so cool. They had a routine. And
What's that vehicle, sir?
It's a support vehicle for the dancing grannies.
All right, did you happen to see that, no, strike that. All right, so that they had a banner in front and then a white, looked like SUV type vehicle at the rear of their group?
Yes.
Okay. That was the 146 mark. I paused, and we will continue to play. And if you could please pause at the 205 mark. Which unit is this, please?
This would be Citizens Bank.
And did these participants have a uniform or something that would be recognizable?
Not really uniform, but a couple of ladies got together and wore the same pants and jackets over top, and then some Santa hats.
Okay. And they had this float associated with their unit?
Yes.
Okay. Did they march in a formation, to your knowledge?
No, just sort of random. They were handing out candy, walking around, and no specific place.
Okay. Play. Pause. What's the next unit?
This would be Extreme Dance.
And do you know about how many people are involved with this unit?
Overruled. You may answer.
I would estimate about 35 girls, younger age, varying.
Okay. And again, they started with a banner in the front.
Yes.
Did they have a support vehicle involved as well?
Yes, pickup truck that there were two people in the back of the bed, which is Northwest Barstow Street.
Okay. And what unit is shown on the screen at the moment?
This would be the Waukesha Blazers support vehicle, and then the baseball players come shortly behind it.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did this group walk in any certain formation?
No, they didn't. They walked around. They were also handing out candy, just sort of walking around, mingling with the crowd and themselves.
Okay. And were some of the players wearing their baseball jerseys?
Yes, they were.
And other individuals just had on like hats and coats and nothing discernible, correct?
Everybody had on coats and hats.
Your objection's noted. It's overruled.
what?
So most of the players had their jerseys on with their numbers on the back, but there was also some coaches that were marching with them, and they just had regular jackets and hats that were on when they were walking.
Okay. Please play.
Yeah, this is. Oh, poor little Jackson and many others were run over. And his brother.
All right. At the 38-second mark, we've paused it, or 39 seconds, we've paused it. What's the next unit coming into view?
This would be Barris Logistics. You can see the pickup truck that's pulling a float that has the Grinch on the back.
Okay.
Oh,
Please
the
play.
Grinch. This sick makes me so sick.
And now at the 103 mark, we've paused it. What's the next unit coming into view?
This would be the Waukesha South High School Marching Band.
Go ahead. And if you could pause, what's that unit right there in the middle?
Well, there's the mascot first for the Waukesha South Band, and then directly behind that is the Remax Realty support vehicle.
Okay. Is it easy to distinguish the Remax vehicle?
Yes, they had a big hot air balloon basket on the back, and they had a flame that was blowing out the top. It was
Okay.
very noticeable.
Okay. Please play.
Sounds like it was a cool parade, except for the obvious.
And we're gonna stop it there at about the 2:15 mark. So that's the Remax group going through, correct, sir?
That is correct.
Okay. Are those the 8 units that were most directly impacted by Mr. Brooks' actions on the parade route, sir?
Yep.
Your objection's noted, it's overruled.
Yes, they were.
In addition,
I'm loving how Opper is using his name. Go Opper.
to that, there were some spectators that were injured. Is that correct, sir?
Correct. There's, I would say, 3 different groups of people, spectators that were sitting on the side of the roadway that were also injured.
Okay. At some point, did you and other members of the Waukesha Police Department attempt to identify all the individuals who were injured as a result of Mr. Brooks' actions on the parade route?
Loving it.
I consent to being called that name.
Overruled.
Yes, we did.
And about roughly how many people was that?
There are over 60 people that were injured that we identified.
Okay. Were you able, through your investigation detective, to determine where along the parade route each of these individuals were located at the time they were injured?
Yes, we were.
And were you able to map that information so that we can present it to this jury?
Yes.
I'd like to please put up number 15 in preview mode. Go ahead. Detective, do you see State's Exhibit number 15 on the screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Is it up?
No.
Okay, shortly. Okay, please tell me when it is.
It is up now.
All right. Can you please identify State's Exhibit 15?
This is a map that I put together that identifies the officers that were on the scene, certain locations of interest that people mentioned when they were interviewed. Also identifies the victims and the deceased that died during the parade event.
Is this an accurate summary of your investigation, sir?
Yes, it is.
Move to admit number 15 and permission to publish.
Mr. Brooks, any position? Your objections noted. The exhibit is received subject to all of the other events laying the foundation for this are ultimately presented to this jury, but you may publish as well.
Thank you. All right, and please, Ms. Gussie, if you could zoom in on the upper right-hand corner again, we'll start there again. All right, so first in the upper right-hand corner, you've designated where the location of White Rock School and the altercation with Miss Erica Patterson that we had testimony about earlier, correct?
Correct.
And then moving down White Rock, we see the location where Sergeant Warner was, correct?
Correct.
And then we'll keep moving down, please. Okay, good. I see your name in the middle of the map, sir. Could you start at that spot and describe what's in that area and then start working down the street towards Buckley?
So my location, I had 2 vehicles with me, an unmarked Ford Taurus and a marked Ford Explorer. We had put the squad and the 2 squads in plastic barricades diagonal, so the parade traffic could continue on westbound, and the vehicular traffic that was on East Main Street and Pleasant Street could make turns, and so we wouldn't obstruct traffic that much.
Could you draw that path for us, what you're referring to?
So the vehicles could continue this way without being stopped.
Okay.
Or the opposite way. And then the flow of the parade came this way down to my location and continued westbound without being obstructed.
Okay. I'm not asking for that to be captured, Your Honor.
Let me ask Mr. Brooks if he's asking that the annotations be captured.
Already ruled that they wouldn't be.
No, that was for that one particular.
We don't need it on this one.
All right, then it won't be captured. Go ahead and clear.
All right, sir. Through your investigation, were you able to determine who was the first person struck by the defendant's vehicle?
Yes, I was.
And who was that?
Nicole White.
She was with the Remax group?
Yes.
And where was she when she was struck, if you could show us on the diagram?
She was on West Main Street, just west of Northwest Barstow Street.
Okay. And if you could please show us more of the bottom of the map, Ms. Gussie.
Hold on, before you move.
Okay.
Any requests to capture that annotation from the state or the defendant?
No.
Mr. Brooks?
Yes, caption it.
All right, we'll capture that.
Only because they said no.
1D.
Actually, this isn't 1. This is 15.
Oh, sorry, 15D.
8.
Yes, 15A. Thank you for that correction.
Okay, now, is it captured, Madam Clerk? I see it, yep. Okay,
Should I clear it now?
please.
Yes.
Okay. The next unit to have been struck by the defendant's vehicle was what?
The Waukesha South Band.
And we see the names of the individuals in the band that were injured by the SUV, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and that location you've identified near the subway and another business known as the Vino Gelato.
Correct.
Okay. What was the next, well, I guess the next unit or individuals to be struck were spectators, is that correct?
That is correct. It'd be Charles Green and Lily Green.
And they were near the Martha Merrill bookstore, correct?
They were on Main Street, just west of Gasper Street,
Okay.
sitting on a little bump out from the curb.
Okay, and they were spectators?
Yes.
Okay. The next group to have been struck?
It would be, the group is Bears Logistics Group.
Okay. And what business were they struck nearby?
They were by Bosco Social Club.
Okay. Now we need to go to the top of the map again, please. The next unit that was struck by the defendant's SUV?
It'd be the Waukesha Blazers Baseball Club.
And how many individuals with the Blazers were impacted by the SUV?
5 directly.
And their names are listed there on Exhibit 15?
Yes, they are.
And Jackson Sparks' name is highlighted in red. Why?
He's one of the 6 deceased people from this incident.
Okay.
Little boy. Gosh.
The next unit to be impacted?
That would be the Extreme Dance Team.
And the names associated with that team are listed on Exhibit 15?
Yes, they are.
And what was the general area and the street where they were impacted? What business?
They are right in front of Mama Ducky's Bakery, for Chef Pam.
Okay.
It's right before the 5 Points in Waukesha, which is an area where Broadway and Main Street cross.
Okay. Can you zoom back into the 5 Point area, please? Okay. And were there any spectators injured in that exact area?
Yes, there were.
And who was that, please?
Isaac Foglia and Deborah Ramirez.
Okay. And then getting through the 5 Points, what was the next group impacted?
It would be Citizens Bank.
Okay. And that was Jane Kulik?
Correct.
And she was fatally injured?
Yes.
Okay. The next group? Or I guess the next group is actually spectators.
Correct. There was 3 children that were sitting on the north side of the roadway on the corner of Clinton Street and West Main, and they were struck by the vehicle when it came through.
What business is located right there?
The Steaming Cup is on the northwest corner of that intersection, so they were very close to that.
Okay. The next unit that was impacted?
That would be the Dancing Grannies.
And that was just past Clinton Street, sir?
Correct, just west of Clinton on West Main Street.
Okay. And you've listed the names of the persons that were injured by the defendant's vehicle associated with the Dancing Grannies, correct?
The injured and the deceased.
Okay. And again, you've designated the deceased with red, color red,
Yes,
and the others were just injured.
correct.
Okay. And that was near a couple businesses that you noted on the map, sir?
That took up a very large part of the roadway that was very spread out, but Donnie Boy's Tap, Curry Insurance, those are the 2 most common businesses in that area.
Okay. And if we could move on to the last group. Sorry. What was the last group to be impacted by the defendant's vehicle?
The Catholic Communities of Waukesha.
And have you listed there the names of all the individuals who were injured by the defendant's vehicle related to the Catholic Communities of Waukesha?
Yes, I have.
Overruled.
I don't identify or consent to being called the defendant.
Your objections noted.
You gotta
Is
accept
there a
something, dude.
business or
But
entity
Ask
nearby
Mike.
that in the area where the Catholic community was struck?
The closest place would be Planned Parenthood.
Okay. All right, thank you. We can take down Exhibit 15, and next I'm going to ask you to please pull up number 12. While she's doing that, Detective, I'll ask you a pretty basic question. All of the locations that you've described for us so far, are they all located in the city of Waukesha?
Yes, they are.
County of Waukesha?
Yes, ma'am.
State of Wisconsin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, are you aware as to some drone footage being captured of the parade route the next day after the parade?
Yes, I am.
Who captured that footage?
Specialist Andy Schmidt.
Works for your department, sir?
Yes, he does in the evidence department.
Okay. And was the drone able to travel the length of the parade route?
This captures from the area where the people started being injured. We didn't capture the entire route.
Okay. And to your knowledge, sir, you've seen this video before, correct?
Yes, I have.
Is it a true and accurate depiction of the way Main Street looked on the morning of November 22, 2021 at about 9:56 a.m.?
Yes, it is.
By now, all of the injured have been removed from the scene, obviously.
Injured and deceased.
Okay, but there's still objects in the roadway?
Correct.
And investigators and other people can be seen in the drone footage?
Yes.
Okay. Move to admit number 12 and permission to publish, please.
Any position by you, Mr. Brooks?
Objection.
Your objection is noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 12 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Okay, so again, we're going to start playing this, and I will ask Ms. Gussie to pause at various occasions so you can describe what we're seeing, but if you can just give us a general idea where we are right now, please.
So right now the drone would be sitting on pretty low to the ground on West Main Street, just west of Northwest Barstow.
And which direction is it facing?
It'd be facing west,
Okay.
the direction of the parade took.
Okay. And can you see or identify the business on the right-hand side?
That would be Smart Asset Realty.
Okay. And can you tell us, I don't know if you could tell, what's on the left-hand side? Can you identify anything there right
Just a
now?
little bit further up is Subway sandwich shop, and I know that the Vino Gelato is right next door to that.
Okay, that's kind of right above the roof of that vehicle that's parked there on the left, right? I see Subway sign?
Correct.
Okay. All right, please play. And can you pause it here, please, at the 23-second mark? Was anybody struck in this area, sir,
Yes, this would be the area that Nicole White was struck.
with the Remax balloon?
Correct.
Okay. And now we got a better shot of the Subway there on the left?
Correct.
Okay, and on the right past Asset Realty, there seems to be a tall building with some mirrored windows on the right. Do you see that?
Correct. That should be 220 West Main Street.
And what's located there, sir?
It's an apartment building, 5 levels, and we captured some video that was recorded on the top floor of that building.
Okay. All right, play. And we'll pause it at the 35-second mark. Was anybody struck in this area, sir?
This would be the area of the Waukesha South Band.
Okay. Play. And we'll pause it there. At the 59-second mark, what do we see here, sir? The businesses, identify, please.
There's a chocolate shop on the left, and then the Vino and Gelato is just on your left, and the front building on your left with the black roof is Martha Merrill's bookstore.
Okay. Was anybody struck in this area?
This would be the area that Barris Logistics was at.
Okay. Play. Gussie, you can just keep it playing. I'm going to talk, but you can keep it playing. It's at the 117 mark. What's that cross street here?
This would be Gasper Street.
Okay.
In that area there is where there were some spectators that were hit.
Okay, thank you. Now we've just crossed Gasper.
Correct.
Okay. And keep it plain, please, at the 157 mark, what businesses are we seeing here?
The joke shop is on your left, and the Waukesha Theater's on your right. That's the area that the Waukesha Blazers were in when they were hit.
Okay. And now we're approaching the 5 Points area, sir?
Correct.
All right, was any group injured in this area?
This is where the Extreme Dance Club was when they were impacted.
Okay,
For the record, that was at 234.
thank you, ma'am. At the 240 mark here, what's this business on the right?
Objection. Just for the record, who were the people off to the right?
You can question the witness during cross-examination, okay?
On the right, there's Mama Ducky's and Chef Pam's kitchen.
Okay. And this is where we get that weird cross streets, that's why it's called 5 Points, right?
Correct.
And that's why everybody gets lost in downtown Waukesha, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, now we've gotten through the 5 Points. And what business is on the right, sir? We're at the 319 mark.
There's a Irish restaurant on the right, and then coming up ahead is the Steaming Cup. That's right on the corner, on the right corner. And then on the left corner would be People's Park, which is a restaurant.
And that's the Clark Hotel on the right?
Correct.
Okay. We'll pause it here at the 351 mark. Do you see a vehicle in the picture at this point, sir?
Yes, I do.
Do you know what unit that vehicle is associated with?
That's a support vehicle for Citizens Bank.
Is this the area where Jane Kulik was struck and killed?
Yes, just up in front of the vehicle on the right-hand side, there's 2 green hash marks that would be the location that she was found at.
Okay.
Hmm.
Play, please.
Can't even imagine what it would be like to look at this street and the aftermath of the defendants mowing over people.
And you already mentioned that's the Steaming Cup on the right, correct?
Correct.
And there were some kids hurt on the corner there?
Yes, on this corner where the blankets were, there's 3 kids that were sitting there that were impacted.
Okay. Now at this point, it's about 4:17 and the drone's gonna focus in on some skid marks on the roadway, is that right?
That is correct.
After further investigation, did these skid marks have any relevance to this investigation, sir?
We believe they have no relevance to this investigation at all.
But at the time, we weren't sure, correct?
Correct.
All right, now we're through that intersection. Did anything of significance occur in this area, sir? We're at the 5:17 mark of the video.
Yes, this is where the dancing grannies were at when they were impacted.
All right, can you please identify some of the businesses as we're going? Oh, yeah, first, we just passed a white vehicle at the 5:23 mark. What was that, please?
That's the dancing grannies support vehicle.
Okay,
And then directly on the right in front of that is Donny Boy's, which
Okay.
is a bar. And then up a little bit further on your left-hand side is Curry Insurance.
okay, and we see Magellan's on the right with the big M.
Correct.
Okay, and you said this is the area where the dancing grannies were impacted.
Yes.
Are you able to tell from this drone the area where the position of 3 of the deceased victims from the dancing grannies were located?
Yes,
As we go further.
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm asking a foundational question. All right, we'll go ahead and play, please. Pause. That's the 5:32 mark. Can you identify for us what we see here, please?
On the left-hand side, there's a pavement marking with green paint. And there's some towels that were used for giving medical aid and a lot of blood on the ground.
Do you know who was found at this location, sir?
Yes, I do.
Who was that?
Tamara Durand.
She's a deceased victim from the grannies?
Yes, she is.
Okay. How about on the left-hand side of the video, there's a building that I can read says Karate Studios. Do you see that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Was another victim of the dancing grannies found in that location?
Yes, there was.
And who was found in that position, sir?
Leanna Owens.
Okay. Please keep playing the video.
It really was sheer carnage.
That's Curry Insurance on the left. I can see the sign.
Correct.
Okay. And coming up will be the third position for one of the dancing grannies who suffered fatal injuries as a result of this incident, sir?
Yes.
Right there?
Correct.
Who was found in that location?
Virginia Sorensen.
Okay. Continue playing. What's the side street we're passing here?
Maple Avenue.
Okay. And what are we approaching here in this area, sir?
We're coming up to the area where Catholic Charities were impacted, and on the right, there's a building with, it's a one-story building with a black roof that goes around. That would be Planned Parenthood of Waukesha, or
Okay.
Wisconsin.
And now we're getting towards the end of Main Street here where it turns to Wisconsin Avenue?
That's correct.
Okay. There's a natural bend in the road to the left, right?
That is correct.
Dog leg left. Now we are past the point where anybody is further struck by the vehicle, correct?
That's correct.
No, nobody was injured in this location.
No, they were not.
We're approaching, if the video will go, we're approaching Veterans Park.
Correct. Veterans Park is directly in front. If you were to not turn on the roadway, you would run into Veterans Park.
Right where that big tree is in the middle of the street.
Yes.
All right, I'm impatient, so I'm gonna have you describe for us as we turn the bend, what's the significance of this area, sir?
So in this area, when the vehicle that was hitting and killing all these people came up to the bend in the road, it turned to the left, and Officer Schulten was standing there, and he made the decision to
Officer
use deadly
Redbeard.
force to attempt to stop the vehicle.
Okay, and that's this intersection here that we're seeing where the two squad cars are parked?
Yes, it is.
This is the area where Officer Schulten was standing when he fired at the defendant's vehicle?
Yes, it is.
All right, we can go ahead and stop it at the 8:01 mark, please. Thank you. Oh, wait, before you turn it off, it's kind of hard to see, and nobody probably will be able to read it, but maybe you if you look real close. In the upper left-hand corner, there's a date and time stamp on the drone video. Do you see that, sir?
Yes, I do.
Could you please read that?
It says 2021-11-22, and then it says 10:06, and I can't read the smaller numbers. So to me, that would mean it was November 22nd, 2021 at 10:06.
That's the time this recording was made, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, but we'll turn to a new topic.
Yeah, actually, I don't have too much more with Detective Casey. I could probably finish my direct in about the next 10 or 15 minutes, Your Honor.
I'll let you finish the direct and we'll reserve cross for Monday morning.
Thank you. Go ahead. Sir, I want to show you another item that's been marked as exhibit. Exhibit 141. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may. I made a few exceptions to that, sir.
Will I be awarded the same?
You know what? You need to shut up.
We'll take that up later.
Sir, can you please identify number
You awarded
141?
the same. Good gosh.
This is a list of everyone that is named victim in this case, which count it refers to, and the group that they are associated with.
Is that a summary of the testimony that you just provided, sir?
Judge, first, are we still looking at the video?
No, we can turn that off. Thank you.
Gosh, what a pain in the ass.
So your objection is, that is granted. Do you have an objection to the question that was asked? Okay, keep going.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
He just says
That's
objection.
the document we
He
created
wants to say anything.
for use at this trial. Is that right, sir?
Yes,
Keep track of everybody and
correct.
keep the counts all straight.
There's a lot of information to keep track of.
Okay. Move for admission of 141 and, yep, 141. I'm not going to publish that, Your Honor. Just want it in the record.
What's any position on that?
Yeah, Judge, is that a document?
Your objection is noted. It's overruled and the court will receive it.
Will I be able to view it?
The
A copy will be provided to you if it's not within the materials previously.
I know why you rip up everything she gives you.
Now, Detective Casey, I would like to return back to your post on White Rock Avenue and Main Street on November 21 of 2021. And do you remember something happening around 4:35 p.m. that afternoon, sir?
Yes, I do.
What do you remember?
You know, it was a normal day. It was windy out. It was cold. A little bit after 4 p.m., I heard on Channel 1, which is a primary channel that our road squads use. Squads being First, I heard a reserve officer call out that he's out with two people, and they reported that there was a fight down by the boat launch.
Did that draw your attention for any reason?
It was just a little bit north of my location, and I just wanted to make sure that I was aware in case somebody came my direction.
Okay. But you didn't leave your post?
I did not.
Okay. What do you remember happening next, sir?
They dispatched a number of squads there to attempt to locate this incident.
What did you do?
You know, I started just paying a little bit more attention. I stood up, I started looking in that direction just to try to be aware in case somebody came my way.
Okay. At some point, did you hear a radio transmission from Sergeant Warner?
I am aware of the transmission, but I did not hear it that day.
Okay. How did you become alerted to a problem?
It was about 4:37 p.m. I was standing up. I was sort of in the diagonal part of the intersection, and I heard a horn blaring, beep, 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 and that sort of like alerted me, trying to figure out what was going on White Rock in the staging area. So I started to look up that way.
Okay. What did you see?
At first, I didn't see anything, and then a few seconds later, I saw the people in the staging area start to spread apart, and within seconds, a red Ford Escape appeared to come through where the staging area was.
You saw this with your own eyes?
Yes, I did.
And did you see where the red Ford Escape went?
Yes, I did.
Where did it go?
Well, first it was coming down southbound. There was a vehicle that was stopped at the intersection in the lane that was supposed to turn to the left that was part of the parade. This vehicle went around that car and then made started to make a left-hand turn.
Okay. What action, if any, did you take?
You know, as soon as I heard the car beeping and I was alerted, I started to head towards the center of the intersection. As the vehicle continued at me, I ran to get in front of the vehicle to try to get it to stop.
What was going through your mind at this point?
I thought it was just a lost motorist, somebody from the apartment building that wanted to get in their parking spot. You know, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes there's people that come through. They're impatient. What's going on? It's like it's a parade, and we have to tell them, hey, you can't be on the road right now. They always stop.
So you thought there was some innocent explanation at this point?
Correct. I thought I would get out in front of the car and he would just stop. We'd have a conversation and we'd safely get him off the parade route.
Okay. How did you try and stop the car, the Ford Escape?
Well, at first I was a little surprised that the vehicle kept coming at me because I'm in full police uniform. I'm standing in front of it and it started closing the distance pretty fast. So as the vehicle approached me, I started pounding on the hood.
So you were close enough to pound on the hood of the car?
Yes, I was in the roadway and the distance closed really fast.
Okay. How fast was the car traveling, would you say?
It could be 3 to 5 miles an hour, but in that area with all the people around and a vehicle that weighs 2,000 pounds against a person, I mean, it came upon me very fast and was very threatening.
Sure, but I mean, by the speedometer, it's not moving very fast, correct?
Correct.
At this stage?
Correct.
Okay. So you pound on the hood.
Correct.
Do you say anything?
I'm yelling stop and pounding on the hood and trying to get the person's attention so they can stop.
What happened?
The vehicle continued going. It pushed right through me.
Were you struck by the car?
Yes.
How?
The vehicle contacted my body, and as it continued, I pushed down the left front of the vehicle.
Okay. And were you injured?
No.
Okay. Did you see the driver of the car as it raced past you?
Yes, I did.
Did you get a good look?
An excellent look.
Who was driving that car, sir?
Darrell Brooks, the defendant.
You're 100% sure of that?
1,000.
He said a name.
Was there anybody else in the car, sir?
Not that I saw.
I'd like to show you an item that's been marked as exhibit number 8,
I'm
please.
surprised Darrell didn't say anything. But his name.
Tell me when it's up, please.
Can I have that number again?
Yes, 8.
Thank you.
It is up.
What do you see on the screen, sir?
So this is a camera from Randy's Imports, which would be on the southwest corner where I was located at. There's a number of cars in the parking lot, and on the north side, you can see West Main Street, and there's a number of people that are on the sides of the roads that were spectators in the parade, and then there's people that were actually marching in the parade that you can see they have red shirts on.
You've seen this video clip before, sir?
Yes, I have.
Do you believe it's true and accurate representation of the events of November 21, 2021?
Absolutely.
And this clip is about 28 seconds long, is that right?
Yes.
Move to admit and permission to publish number 8.
Mr. Brooks, any position on that? Is that an objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your objection's noted, it's overruled. Exhibit 8 is received, permission to publish is granted.
Okay, please orientate us.
So this is the south right here. This would be looking to the north, and White Rock Avenue is in this area here. This here is Main Street.
Okay. On the, right near that arrow that you drew, near the top of the screen, it looks like there's a very bright light at the top of the screen. Do you see that?
The street lights?
No.
Or to the right?
Yep, right there. What's up in that area, sir?
That would be the squad cars that I had with me?
Okay. You have the red and blues on?
Correct, on both vehicles.
Okay, and that's what that light is in that area.
Yes.
Now, you scribbled all over this, but can you see yourself?
Not right now.
Not right now. Where do you remember standing?
So if the squad cars were by this circle right here,
Yep.
I would have been like right in this area to the left.
Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this, but I'm going to ask Miss Gussie to put it in full screen because I'm not going to be pausing it or stopping it. I want to make sure we capture the whole top and bottom of this one. Okay.
We'll clear the annotation since this is a video.
So I'm going to play it through once, and we're just going to watch it, and then I'll ask you what we saw. We can go back if we need to. Play.
Do you want me to talk while it's going on or after?
No, because I can't see the counter, so. Okay, we're going to do that one again with the counter up so I can pause it and have you point out. It's really hard to see what the heck we're supposed to be looking at on this one, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. So here we are. We're paused at, whoop, you're going to start. Okay. That's okay.
So right by the flashing lights on the left-hand side, you'll suddenly see me come out with the orange vest on.
Pause, please. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Detective. Okay, we're pausing at the 8-second mark. Show us, circle where the jury's supposed to be looking right now. And what are we gonna see up there?
You should see me walk from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. Slow speed at first and then speeding up towards the end.
You are. In other words, you picked up the pace.
Correct. And then shortly after, you will see the red Ford Escape come down the street here and traverse westbound on Main Street.
Okay, now, is this video good enough to see you actually pounding on the hood?
Unfortunately, this black pickup truck is blocking where that happened at. If that pickup truck wasn't there, you would be able to see it.
Okay, and just to remind us, you're in a bright fluorescent yellow safety vest, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, play, please. Right there, is that you?
Yeah, that is me.
Okay, 12 seconds. Circle yourself, please. We're paused at 12 seconds. Okay. Okay, go ahead and play, please. There's the red SUV.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That's it for Exhibit 8. I'm going to ask Ms. Gussie to pull up Exhibit 120. Tell me when it's on the screen, please, sir.
The photo is up.
Okay. Have you seen this photograph before, sir?
Yes, I have.
This is State's Exhibit 120. Do you believe this photograph is a true and accurate representation of the events of November 21, 2021?
Yes, I do.
You've seen this photograph before, sir?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Just tell the jury what it's a picture of.
It's a picture of the Ford Escape that was involved in this incident, and Darrell Brooks, the defendant, driving the vehicle.
Okay. Move to admit 120 and permission to publish.
Your objection is noted, it's overruled. Exhibit 120 is received, permission to publish is granted.
I don't consent to being called that name or defendant.
Your objection's noted.
We call you something.
Objection for hearsay as well.
Overruled.
Hearsay. What was hearsay?
Okay, Detective, please help the jury see what we're supposed to see. Where is the red SUV? Dumb question.
So it looks like a person that's involved in the band. One of the band people are to your right in the center. And then right in the middle of the screen, you see a red vehicle. And then seated at the driver's seat is a gentleman with a white hoodie on.
And appears to be black facial hair, is that correct?
Correct.
Is that what Darrell Brooks looked like as he drove past you just a block or two earlier?
Objection. I do not consent to being called that name. I do not know anyone by that name, nor do I agree to being called that name. And it's hearsay.
It's not hearsay, your objection's overruled. You may answer, Detective.
Yes, that's the defendant, Darrell Brooks, the person that drove past me and didn't stop when I tried to stop the vehicle.
Is that how he looked as he drove past you?
Yes, it is.
With the hood up?
To be honest with you, I don't remember the hood up when he went past me. It happened very fast. I could only see the outline of his face. I know some people later on say that they saw him with hair. When I saw the pictures with his hoodie up, it explained to me why I did not see his hair.
Okay. All right. Just let me consult here 1 second. I think I'm done for right now, Your Honor. don't have any other questions for this witness at this time, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, I will give you an opportunity to cross-examine, but that will be Monday morning since it is 4:41. Now 4:42. We've had a long week for the jurors and a couple of long nights, so I'm going to break now. I do need to read through an instruction. He may step down, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do not begin your deliberations and discussion of the case until all the evidence is presented and I have instructed you on the law. Do not discuss this case among yourselves or with anyone else until your final deliberations in the jury room. This order is not limited to face-to-face conversations. It also extends to all forms of electronic communications. Do not use any electronic devices such as a mobile phone or computer, text or instant messaging, or social networking sites to send or receive any information about this case or your experience as a juror.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state is excusing from its subpoenas, with the court's permission, please, Officer Phillips, Kyle Edwards, and Holly Berg.
Have you received any of the subpoena forms from Mr. Brooks related to any of these witnesses to assist with?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize because I was speaking with Ms. Basie. So she also reminded me that you were going to rule later as to Detective Guth and Erica Patterson. So we do not intend to recall these individuals. We would seek to release them from our subpoenas if they are on Mr. Brooks' witness list, which he has due on Monday, and he wants them subpoenaed. We would make arrangements to have them return. I guess the question is the exclusion order. Or maybe we should wait to see his witness list on Monday.
Let's wait to see the witness list on Monday, please. That's your due date. So I expect that will be filed, and then I can take up the issue of releasing individuals from their subpoenas from the district attorney's office. And then, of course, I'll take up Monday morning the issue with Exhibit 6. Yes. All right, Mr. Brooks, anything from you at this time?
I'm definitely gonna have the subpoenas. Like I said, I would need to, I guess, confer with how to properly get them done and filed in the right fashion.
Mr. Brooks, I've advised you previously, I would be willing to review for completeness. You need to get those to me in a timely fashion. Your witness list is due Monday, and so I expect those subpoenas to be brought with you first thing Monday morning so I can address with you and the state how any of those witnesses who are also listed on the state's witness list, we can address the logistics of that. If they're not on the state's witness list, that's a different situation, but the state has offered for any witnesses, and the state can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding you have offered for witnesses that are on the state's witness list, that if Mr. Brooks names them, and absent, I guess, any objection by you for some lawful reason, you would assist in getting those subpoenas to those individuals.
Yes, and he wouldn't necessarily be limited to our list. We've offered, in addition to that, if there are relevant witnesses and it's reasonable to get them served, that is the southeastern Wisconsin area, we will assist in that, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. That you brought that to my attention, and I didn't quite remember that. So get all your subpoenas together.
They're helping him.
Get your witness list, and the state's offered some assistance in doing that.
I do want to state that I previously touched on that whole topic, that was one of my concerns when I was compiling my witness list was I gonna be calling anybody that they already had on their list. If you will recall, I stated that for the record. That was
You mean witnesses they actually call, or just witnesses who are on the list?
both.
Well, if you want to question a
Both.
witness and the witness is called by the state, that will be your opportunity to do that. Generally, that's how it's done. If you are asking to then have them recalled during your case in chief, we can take that up at a later point in time, but you got to have the subpoenas available, okay?
Yeah, I follow that. I was wanted it stated for the record that I had raised that issue because at that time, I still hadn't even gone through the entire witness list from the prosecution. It was 30 plus pages. That's a lot of names.
Yep.
I
So
agree,
it was,
Mr.
it was
Brooks,
What
there's
else
a
do you
lot
got
of
to do,
names, but
buddy?
I
What else
actually
do you have to do?
extended the filing deadlines. They all have come and passed, but I, obviously in light of you representing yourself, I extended that, and have ordered that you file your witness list by Monday. So that's how we will address that. Do you have any other issues at this time?
Yes, I do.
Always.
The statement of particulars that hasn't been responded to by affidavit.
For the love.
The notice of special appearance hasn't been
I
responded
direct
to.
your
Same old
attention to
BS.
the Barnaby decision, sir. The court's not going to be addressing that topic any further.
So what about the subject matter jurisdiction?
Yeah, we don't give a crap about
Sir,
that one either.
that's an
Sorry, I'm
argument
moving
that
around,
has
guys.
been debunked repeatedly by the courts in the United States of America, all over the place. It is not recognized as any type of issue that a court needs to address. It is summarily denied.
Can you
Next
show
topic.
proof that it has no relevancy, Your Honor?
I direct you to the Barnaby decision, sir. All right.
Can you show proof of that,
I'm sorry?
Your Honor? Verified? Can you show a verified affidavit of that?
No. All right. Mr. Brooks, the hearing today is concluded. We'll see everyone back here on Monday at 8:30 a.m.
Oh
We
my
are
gosh.
recessed.
Just go back to your dog. See, he's lonely. Because it's going to be the weekend, right? Guys, seriously. Seriously. I mean, and I do think he's super paranoid and thinks that the state and the judge are trying to pull a fast one on him, but he should realize that they don't want this to be a mistrial, and they're helping him, but we already know at every turn he's going to be difficult. And it's just, I don't know, this one really tired me out. I don't know if it made you all mentally tired. I mean, and I'm not even, we're just viewing this and thank goodness we know that already. Of course, he's out there, doing his appeal. I mean, he probably just wants to have some outings, but it's just, I thought today was a lot of good testimonies, once again proving that he's there. He was there even though, he does not want to claim any responsibility. But I hope that y'all have enjoyed this. Like I said, it was kind of, at least for me, I'm sure you all feel the same because we all have souls and he does not. But, just seeing all that. And you know what? Like, Detective Casey, he made that whole map up. So Brooks knew exactly who was on that list, the ones that were injured, the ones that were deceased, and yet he still called some of those people without any thought of how it might affect them or their family, because he doesn't give a crap, because he's soulless. But it'll be interesting to see his cross-examination of Detective Casey. So that'll be the next thing, and I don't know what'll be next, but we'll just do it day by day. Well, if y'all hung here with me through the whole thing, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. I hope you're taking good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And as always, be kind to one another, and most importantly, be kind to you.